All right, I think we're live.
We are.
Awesome. Well, where do we begin, Brad?
Should we go from recent and then work our way back? Be a bit opposite today with the whole Tommy Stewart news and whatnot. Just the game.
Yeah, I'd rather not talk about it. Do we want to start with just this week so far?
We can do that. We can definitely do that.
Because we had Carlton and Hawthorn, which was a pretty decent game.
Yeah, it was a really good game. If you're a Hawthorn supporter.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you're a Hawthorn supporter. Carlton, I don't know if Bossy should be scared.
You reckon you get the sack?
You'd have to be considering it. Like
sure.
the sub rotation, everything.
Yeah.
But good. What's good, Corey? McRae. What was his final score? I just want to quickly check because he
Probably
absolutely popped off. A 168.
Wow.
Someone has VC'd him this week.
Easily.
Guarantee someone VC'd him.
Yeah.
That's crazy. CWT up the Saints. Yeah, look. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, it's rough.
About it. I'm wearing this shirt too.
Yeah, that was the best game of the round, though.
It was. It wasn't looking like it was going to be the best game of the round, and then it turned into being an absolute nail biter at the end.
Literally.
You go.
I couldn't believe that the Supercoach scores were down and just nothing was updating. I don't watch it too much, but what the hell?
I know. What's good, Cheese? I think we've got to talk about all the bullets that we took, but I think we can kind of talk about it as we kind of go through the games thus far.
Yeah.
So, Adam Chera, do you have him in your team? You do, don't you?
Yeah, I started him. He's a great pick. Yeah. Do you got him?
I do. Absolutely great pick. Was kind of concerned that there was that halfback training, and then literally the exact same thing happened as last week, where he got sent to like halfback at the third quarter.
Yeah, that is concerning, isn't it?
It is. So, but I mean, 113 still solid.
Yeah, you'll take it.
100% you would. What's good, Jack? Also, I appreciate those checking in as well. This is the first stream. Hopefully it all looks good on your end, guys. If there's any issues with audio or video, do let me know, because I'm fine tweaking everything. But Brad's been generous enough to come on for the first stream to lend me a hand to help me. This is like the Tom Stewart support group. This is what it is.
Had to. You've got a way better layout than me, and I thought if my internet goes down mid-live on mine, I'm going to go nuts. And then I just saw at the same time we posted roughly the same time, and I was like, shit, I don't want to, be hectic and be on two different streams, so I may as well just combine because we've done that in the past.
This was purely just to test it, because I saw yours go up. I was like, I'll jump on mine just to make sure it all works. And I was like, I'll do it for like 30 minutes, and then I'll like jump into yours or some shit. I'll come annoy you. Well, Corey hasn't taken too many bullets this week. I was actually pretty good. Like, the only bullet I'd really took out before today was Pez. Everything else has been fine.
I literally dodged everything as well, I think. I dodged pretty much everything apart from Horn Francis, which is undodgeable. And then Trainer. Apart from that, I've missed all the bullets. Hall was disgusting, but we'll talk about him when we talk about the Saints game.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've been okay.
Yeah. Jack McRae he's back. We'll just put it that way. Let's just put it that way. And yes, Wiz.
He might have had a few bevs, but you can always try to message him.
Few too many, I think. Yeah, nice, Corey. What's my projected? Actually, what's your current projection that you've got going there, Brad?
1853, the year you were born.
You're ahead. I'm on 18.41.
No, there's bugger all in that.
Yeah. I blame Stuart. Motherfucker. Anyway. So, Blues. They looked good in the first half and then did the exact same things they did last week and just couldn't run out the rest of the game.
Well, I think it was also to do with the fact that Voss just puts players in positions that he's not meant to. Like, Cripps shouldn't be rucking. He just got everything wrong to set up. I wouldn't be surprised if he's sacked by round 6.
Yeah, legit. It's going to be pretty... I mean, he was saying in a presser that I watched that apparently Cripper loves, doing the ruck work. And I'm like, I don't believe it. Like, he doesn't... That's not where he provides value for the team. That's not how he won his Brownlows, which Voss even said that's how he got his Brownlows. That's not true.
Did Conning spend a lot of time on the bench too? Did you notice that? Like, he only got a 104, but he was stuck on the pine for like 10 minutes. That sucked. I had him as VC. Did you have him VC as well?
I did. Yeah, because it was like getting into... They were just ramping up to try and make a comeback in like the last quarter. And Conning was on the pine for like 10 minutes.
Ridiculous.
Anyway, was there any real disappointments? I mean, Campo getting subbed was kind of annoying.
I know there's not a lot of Sard owners, but he's always semi-popular as a bit of a pod choice, but that's an annoying score if you're a Sard owner. Walsh is just a shadow of himself. I've never really rated Walsh, though, to be honest. Just he turns it over a lot.
It's just the DE. Like, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
He's a tad overrated. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go.
I wasn't saying he's a tad overrated. Do you think he is as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't. I think I looked at Walsh last season, but then all like the injuries and like it just avoided because he did what 80 or 70 or something last week, and then he scraped his way to 100 this week.
Yeah.
It's not ideal. And then I don't even know why Charlie Curnow played.
Yeah, who knows? It's Voss.
Absolutely shell of a man. He was not ready. He was so underdone.
Yeah.
Oh, Hawks though. I heard a lot of people saying if Newcomb or Day, if one of those people go off, it's the opposite that pays the price. And we can see that because literally I think Newcomb took like 60 points off Day.
Yeah,
76 and 149. Oof.
And Day just like 5 free kicks against him as well, and he plays too much forward for me. And Newcomb's got the role, but then he can give you a 70 any given week, so he's too hot and cold for me as a pod pick too.
Yeah, I saw a few people look at him, and it's actually not bad. Like considering the ceiling, it's a decent pod pick, but I think it's more like a Noah Anderson situation where it's just a massive roller coaster.
Literally,
there's no like consistency or anything like that. So, did you end up starting Stuart or not? I think Jack thought you did.
No, I faded last minute to Zorko with money.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did too.
Yeah.
That's right, smart boy. I mean, I chose Stuart to pivot away from short, and last week that worked, and this week I was quite confident, and then it's backfired this week completely. But
that's unreal.
It's all right. I'm gonna take a hit, so I can trade my way out of it. It's fine. I'm not gonna think about it too much.
Yeah, try not to.
Sneaky pod pick and Amon. He's actually doing pretty well.
Yeah, he starts seasons like this as well. Takes kickouts, but if he was like 50k cheaper, I'd probably go for it. But I just can't see a way of going there. You can pay 30k more for a Bailey Dale, can't you?
Yeah, literally like 27. He's around the 500, so you could pay like a 27k and get up to a Dale, for example. So it's a sneaky pick. Like I was potentially looking at him for a Pez replacement as well, but it's just that buy because I have 2 Essendon rookies. That buy was going to absolutely kill me. So.
Looks like where's the other guy? Dylan Moore didn't do much by the looks of it too.
No, I mean this is like kind of where was he? 57. That's a quiet. This is the thing with Dylan Moore though, because I had him last season. He can give you more of a consistent like 80 to 90s, but he will give you the occasional like absolute floor game of like 55.
Yep.
It's just the floor is not great. I mean, he was pretty consistent through the back end of last season for me, but he definitely popped in a 60 or 2 here and there, and just unfortunate. How do you feel about Meek? Do you think he's slowly becoming a viable option? Because he had some rough scores, but a 90 is not too bad.
Well, I knew Essendon would be restrictive round 1, but I actually got kissed with this because if Gawn didn't play no Briggs, I probably would have started Meek. So a bit of luck fell my way. I was really keen on him, but he hasn't looked that good around the ground for me. Like, he wins a lot of hot hit outs, but I don't know. It's almost like that first game where he actually did really well in round 0. He hasn't been the same since. So I'm not sure he can actually compete with Gawn and Cherry now. So if people got Flynn at R2, I'd rather just set and forget after looking at these ruckman early rounds. It's a lot of money, but you might have to restructure like an abs situation. But yeah, definitely. I don't know if Nick will get near it. Not sure.
So you wouldn't really be looking at him even with his easy fixture after the bye? You just don't think he's up to it?
Yeah, I don't think he's up to it. Just gut feel.
Yeah. I mean, like if TDK was making him look like he was, like a Zach Reed, like he was skinny. He was pushing him around like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And like he's a big body. Not he's easy huge. To do that. But yeah, he's one to watch. I think he might get better after his fixture. Like he did it last season. Like maybe he's just having a slower start to get into the match fitness and actually, put up the body that he's got. Anyone else stand out to you from Hawthorn?
Nah, but Will Day owner's got to trade him, I think, before the Bedford bye.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing is the preseason trap.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
41%.
Yeah. And yeah, Cheese reckons that Cripps is going to be absolutely exhausted from having to do that ruck, which I agree.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. Ooh, this was one of the more competitive games that we've seen so far.
Yeah,
Bulldogs versus Collingwood.
Sorry,
Bailey Dale.
Yeah, Dale's done.
Some people are looking at Dale and going, "Oh, he's had some pretty easy fixtures." Do you still get him in, given that he's actually kind of valued at his price, given what he's put out?
I think he's top 6, and I was actually saying to Cheese today, I reckon he's actually top 3, sneakily.
I reckon. Like, it's actually quite annoying, because I know CWT started him, because we were having discussions before lockout, like proper lockout, and I'd gone Stewart, and if I wasn't Stewart, it was Dale. I feel like I just stitched myself up big time. But
do you know the reason I think we both potentially didn't start Dale? We already had Ed Richards, and they both had injury niggles. So for me, I couldn't start both.
That's very true.
Like, Ed Richards was coming off a calf. Dale was coming off a quad. There's no way you could have backed both not to be subbed out round 1 or 2 if they were dominating.
Yeah, both coming off those injuries. You'd think one of them would go down within, or potentially be managed at least in the first 5 rounds. So, we might have chosen the. I think Richards is still a great pick. Don't get me wrong, but I think we left the 10 to 15 points on the table just quietly.
Yeah, and there's no premiums in my backline worth trading from.
Yeah, well, now I've got Pez and Stewart that are going to go, unless I hear that Stewart comes back next week, which is unlikely given his age and if it's a proper knee concern, because he tried to get back out there and it wasn't happening. So
I wonder if it's a PCL injury.
Yeah, we'll see. I can't wait for Tuesday to try, but we'll be fine. What do you think of Darcy? I feel like Darcy is putting his hand up for top 6.
I think he'll be top 10, but I think we're a year too early. I just want one more year for him to develop.
Do you reckon he needs to put on a bit of size?
Yeah, but I just think he's going to be naturally a lean sort of guy anyway. But yeah, I just think, I don't know. I just want to see one more year of him when the Dogs have all their midfield kicking it to him. Like Traw and Bont, just for a whole season kicking it down his throat. He's going to be like a Buddy Franklin for the next 5-6 years, sort of scoring like he was back in 10, 15 years ago, whatever it feels like now.
Yeah, definitely. PWT, speaking of, has a 1913 projection after that game.
Wow.
I think that's above par, for sure.
Easily.
And we got Crazefit. How's it going, mate? Mr. Stewart, unreliable now. Yep. Stewart, Mr. Unreliable. I mean, it's two weeks back to back. He's gone down in the first quarter?
Yes. Yep.
And at that age too, like I picked him up for content. Now I have to get rid of him. I have to shave the hair, all the beard. I mean, the full beard's gone. I've just got the mo now. But I might have to like go babyface and maybe pick up a Dempsey or something. We'll see. Corey wants to know, Brad, what are your thoughts on McIntosh's little headband situation?
Bloody pointless. He kicked it out in the full, and I went off my rocket. I almost had to replace my TV. He did a couple nice things. He kicked a nice goal, but apart from that, just play the kids at this point. Like, it's just a waste. I hate McIntosh, Corey, as you already know, mate. But the headbanders look so stupid. I can't stand the headbands on any players in general. They're just, I know Cats do it a lot, so no offense to you, but so annoying.
It's our signature.
Literally.
Signature.
Yeah, I don't know.
It did look funny though, because he had to match the uniform. So just this bright yellow on an already bald head. It was a look.
He looks like a tennis player.
He does. He actually does. It's quite funny. Cheese is getting on the Dale train. I like it.
Oh,
I hate that he's popped off now because he's not going to. I'd be really interested to see like his ownership after lockout, because it's not going to be a pod anymore because he's put his name up.
It won't be over 10%, you wouldn't think.
I hope the injury scares people away like it did Richards, because even after Richards popped off last week, he was still under 2% owned.
You need to have the cash as well, so people from Pez will,
true.
Do that potentially.
Damn. Ooh, do we think Dale's going to get a tag soon?
No.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I'm not saying he's not taggable, but for me, he's just got too many ways to stay in the game. Like, he just continues to be that option. Like, and he's such a good tank. Like, who the doggies really got? But I don't think he's the one you go to in Footscray. I think you're tagging Ed Richards at this point through the middle of the ground rather than him. For me,
and that's if they can keep up with Richards too, because he's a quick boy.
He's one of the quicker midfields I've seen in a while, actually.
Got some speed to him. But I think I agree though. Was it you that made the comment that since Daniel's out now too, like they're just looking for him a bit more.
Yeah.
Which is a really good shout. Without Daniel being that distributor, like we saw a lot in this game that he's kicking the ball out, but then he's also getting the receive straight away.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what more you'd want in a Supercoach perspective out of that.
Literally, the week we bring him in, he'll score a 70 though. You watch.
That's what I'm scared about. Is like we bring him in, then he gets tagged. It's gonna be silly. Yaron, good evening. Hope you're well, mate. Happy to see you on Monday night at the Bounce.
Good evening, Yaron. Thank you for Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go.
I was going to say, the other night I was finishing up a stream and Yaron donated, but it was right on the last second or two of the stream. I didn't get to shout him out and thank him, so I really appreciate that, mate. So, yeah, it was it came in last second and I was like, oh, shit, I didn't get to say my thanks to him. So I appreciate that, mate.
There you go. Nah, Yaron's a good man. Good man. Showing all the love. Yeah, Corey, I flirted with the idea of starting Dale, but yeah, it just ended up leaning into Stewart, unfortunately, which I thought he's actually valued, but he's clearly not been able to stay fit and didn't even do anything crazy to knock him, like put himself out of this game either. He went to brawl for a ball and his knee just went nope.
Yeah.
So we'll go to Whitfield. Will they have the cash though?
They're going to have to spend 180K. Where are you going to find that from?
Like, are you going to grab, like, if for those that held on to Pal Pepper, he just pushed out an 80. Are you going to get rid of him now to like a 99, maybe like Edwards, to then go Pez to Whitfield?
In all honesty, I think people will probably drop down the cash and grab Fraser after a 99 and 100.
That's what I see most likely to happen. Like, and it makes the most sense. Like, I'm not sure. We'll get into Geelong scores in a bit, but it seems like the most sense from, a cash perspective that you just go down Fraser, which, foresight, I'm most likely going to go Pez down to Fraser and then Stewart up to a Dale, most likely, because there's only 50K difference, and it still means I have cash in the bank.
Yeah.
So
I think Fraser's the better option for the mid prices by just on the eye test as well, and just the risk of no other ruckman being involved in an STK situation. I think hindsight, like you said, though, yeah,
and that's what we. You get into like 2 rounds after lockout, and then you get hindsight on all your preseason stuff, and you're like, damn, what did I get wrong? What was I thinking?
Yeah,
crazy. What is Cheese saying? Yeah, Tom Green is also a good shout too. Cheese. I started him last season, and he paid me back in dividends. It was really, really good. So, anyway, Bulldogs. Before we get lost in chat, Davidson actually. I feel like Cheese needs to start his own podcast.
I literally do too. Genuinely, he's got some good stuff.
Like, Cheese, like, in all seriousness, get a mic, get a cam, like, join us. Legit. Would love to have you on. You always have some really good takes. Some hot takes, but interesting takes. But yeah, so Davidson, he actually gave us a good score this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
72.
He showed so much potential the week before though as well. Like so much almost moments. I don't know. And I watched him in Richmond VFL last year, so I started him based off listening to the VFL report every week. So that's how I knew he was a good pick.
Yeah, I think it was always going to be a good pick. I think last week was just a bit unlucky. This week, I think we saw more for him. Like, I think I saw almost 3 consecutive plays where he was hustling down the wing for a tackle and like just couldn't get there. But you could tell he was on every gear trying to get there. And like, that's all you really want to see from a rookie. So, 70.
I was going to say, did you see him try to chase down Hill?
That's what I'm talking about. The last one I remember is him trying to get Hill. I'm like, I appreciate the effort. You're not getting him.
Yeah. I wasn't sure which chase down. I'm like, he's got to be talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's what I mean. Like, the effort's there. It's unlucky you chose Hill to chase after, but yeah, is what it is. Sanders, disappointing for those that hold.
Yeah, I told everyone Sanders and Garcia in the same boat. They're going to be traps, but yeah, I didn't like the roles. Just Ross and Body Bevo suck when it comes to their rookies sometimes.
Yeah. Yep. But no, Richards and Fraser are definitely on radars. I think Fraser's going to be, as we said, a massive trade in next week from like a Pez for those that held. I think Richards is probably still safe. I think people are just going to commit to, because they probably have like a Rosie in this spot.
Yep. Agreed.
Or a Brayshaw potentially if they went like a Neil. So I doubt they're going to pivot off, especially after what Rosie had, 130 today?
Like, 130. Yeah.
You're not pivoting. I saw actually a couple of people go early on Dolan, which was really interesting. So that didn't work.
I was one of them. I started Dolan at F8.
Oh, no. I was like, I can't remember who I saw it on. Makes sense. I saw it on yours.
It was me. I was like, I'll pick a 2% pod at F8, and I just butchered that one. The highlights and everything is playing as a high half forward. His disposal numbers were huge in his draft years. He can kick like no tomorrow, but just so many almost moments. And Dolan's my worst rookie. And every time I do a review, I just want to blur him out of my screen.
Yeah, just there's this black bar and just F8.
Yeah, literally F8's non-existent.
That's it. Alrighty, before we get into Collingwood, for those that are here, if you haven't liked the stream, make sure you go ahead and do that now. If you're not subbed and you've come across from Brad's channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I am chasing 500 as well. Brad just recently reached 500s as well, so congrats to you, man. I know you've been hustling for that number for ages, so it's awesome to see that finally happen for you.
Yeah, thank you.
If
4
you
years.
guys, 4 years, yeah, you're a mature age rookie.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, Barlow.
Mature age rookie. It's so good. Yeah. For those that don't know Brad, make sure you go search up Supercoach Pro. He is an actual pro. He told everyone to get off Sanders, and if you didn't, now you know why. So make sure you go give him some love. Yeah, this is my first stream. So I've joined Brad a few times, but if there's clunks or audio issues, just do let me know, and we'll get through the questions as we kind of go through the games. But before we jump into Collingwood, Jack says, Jack does not look happy or sound happy at Ross Lyon. And I don't imagine many are, considering he was announced sub at the start of the game.
Yeah. Hugo Garcia, I didn't really see his sub coming, but as soon as I saw that, I thought everyone's made their trades already. How are you going to get out of that? So, and then backing Jack's statement, like Sada scored as a 78 with 60 TOG. You probably now hold.
Yep.
Yeah, you wouldn't trade him. No point.
Yeah, Sardis is a tough one because you kind of see the writing on the wall with the TOG that he's kind of just a placeholder until Parrish gets back. But
yeah,
hopefully there's enough people in Brad's ear going, this kid is literally giving you most contested possessions or tied first, and then most clearances.
Yeah,
like that. How he's keeping him at 60 TOG is ridiculous.
It's because Essendon's midfield is too much one-dimensional. Like, I'd actually like to see Martin run through there or half-back flank. I think Essendon's same thing. Like, the team's sort of there, but they just position the players in places they shouldn't be playing at. Like Nick Martin, I don't like Nick Martin forward at all. I like him half-back flank to stick him run and carry. I wouldn't even mind seeing, I know this sounds a huge call and Essendon was going to go nuts, but I even wouldn't mind seeing Zach Merritt on a half-back flank with his ball use on the other flank.
I totally agree. His ball use, and because that's what they're missing. Is the perfect example was Ambrosio's kick from back 50. That little kick, that was like one of the best kicks I've probably ever witnessed. It was so clean, but like that's what most teams, especially Carlton, are missing. Is that direct clean kick out of 50 to a direct target, not a boot out of 50 to wherever it lands. And then it's getting sent back in. Like, it's ridiculous. Yaron says that the YouTube autocorrect was awful and it took him ages to type out the message for you.
That's all right, mate. I was shattered. I just couldn't get to him in time for it. So I even tried to find him. I tried to find him on Twitter to personally message him, and I couldn't find any Twitter account there. So I was excited when we seen him back in the stream to say thank you to that. But yeah, YouTube lags on my end as well, actually.
YouTube can be funny like that. We know Brad just went on Facebook and messaged a bunch of Yarons just saying thanks.
Yeah, actually, I was just trying to find on Twitter. I was like, oh man.
Yep. Go Corey. Some might have cash from Smith to go Hall or Lindsay. Yeah, that's not a bad shout. I'm curious. I didn't really see or notice his Hall's final score from today because he's a target for me next week if Foss doesn't provide.
You don't want him as your target. This is a
okay. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
What we got? We got Loki. Is the projected even accurate with the best 18? That's a great question. I don't know how accurate it is. You have more experience in this than me. What?
I actually genuinely can't remember, but I've been the worst for actually knocking projections. So I get a lot of questions saying, what's your projections? And I just say, don't worry about projections until your final score, because normally it's about 200 points off every week.
Yeah, and that's normally it. Is like the only time the projection is correct is once the final game's finished.
or it has to be correct. On your Sunday last game, then you know it's almost accurate. But before Sunday games, it's almost not worth looking at.
CWT, you think Fraser pick is a trap?
Nah, the eye test is amazing.
I think the concern with Fraser is what happens when Bont and Treloar get injected back into the team, which, mind you, they're still, 3 weeks away each? Roundabouts?
he's made you cash by then anyway, so we're sitting at 500k by then, potentially.
Yeah. That's what I mean. You're going to get one price rise, definitely. And then you're potentially probably going to get a second one as well. So I think the value in being able to get that outweighs the risk of a potential drop off once, the main two are injected back into the team.
Yeah.
All right. We'll get to your comment, Cheese. Let's quickly go through a Magpie so we can keep having a look at these games. Dacos just doing Dacos things.
Yep.
Crazy. I don't think we need to spend too much time on it. It's Dacos. Like, come on now.
Yeah, you just wait for him to get to 580 and you jump on after that.
Yeah, you pretty much hold a mid-pricer that's making cash until you make anything happen and move him on to Dacos when he bottoms out.
Yep.
Houston, quiet game at 81 after a massive game last week. Interesting.
He got overscored heavily for a few little things I noticed. Like, he did not look like an 81. Eye test said 65 max.
He didn't look great. He did not look great. But, I mean, I'm honestly not mad if, like, he's probably going to be sitting around the mark for top 8.
Yeah.
If it's the Houston that we know. So, I don't mind seeing an 81 because it just means we can get him cheaper.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, I think how can you plan for McGuinness to go down within minutes to then have the sub activated before Perryman comes on?
Yeah.
How, like, that's, I feel like you take away the injury to McGuinness, I feel like Perryman does at least 70.
Easily. And I jumped off Perryman. I dropped off Perryman to Rankin, like, not long before.
No one won out of the Perryman pick because he either went from Perryman to Baz, who didn't end up playing, or he went Perryman to Rankin, who then got subbed out just to be managed because they were, who cares? Like, let's just give him a break.
And Rankin's still going to be top 6, and he scored a 97 in 3 quarters because he wasn't playing the last quarter at all.
Yeah, because he got subbed, the score scales.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of a little gift that we kind of got that he just smidged under a ton.
Yeah.
But Perryman's got to go. If you got Perryman like me and you didn't do the smart thing like Brad, Perryman's got to go. He's as soon as lockout lifts, he's gone.
Yeah. But like you said on your behalf, to be honest, like that Perryman flick, the role was semi there, but then I was like, oh, DeGoey's back. Pendlebury's not sub. CBAs are going to go down. If he tags anyone that goes forward with him, he's going to play his normal half-back role. So I got concerned when I saw DeGoey and Pendles in there, but I wasn't expecting a game that bad. A few marks saved him as well, but sometimes I think this year I've kind of played more aggressive. It's actually been working well. So I think this is the year to go hard first 2 rounds, then hold trades for about a month until you can upgrade around 6 or whatever.
Oh, definitely. And that's the thing. I actually thought I was being quite aggressive holding Pez, but also getting Baz in and then choosing to flick to a 99k rookie on bench that could make some money. Because that was a somewhat aggressive, but I still don't hate the trade I did. I think it was quite calculated. It's just, again, it's just Supercoach. You have these weeks where, like this one, where you've had so many things happen that are just like, okay, my Supercoach season's like practically over. And I know most people said that last week, and they're probably going to dig deep into that whole this week, given the chaos, but nothing you can't really trade out of. And that's where I think you kind of need to back yourself is situations are going to happen that we can't foresee. Let's just back yourselves in. You got the trades, use them up.
Yep, I agree.
I ended up just doing rookie corrections this week and not using a boost. That's an absolute win. Yeah, I may not. I could have easily gone to. I considered Jack Graham before I heard the injury news.
Yep.
As a little pod, but outside of that, I'm more than happy just playing it slow, doing rookie correction, saving the boost for a rainy day, and moving on.
Yep.
All right, let's get into. I don't really want to talk about this game because Bombers are doing my head in. Speaking of Bombers, Nick Martin did the ice cold Palmer celebration. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Love that.
Yeah. I mean, was it the right time to do a celebration? Probably not. But
no.
Campbell's last week when he did the cartwheel and backflip, warranted. That was very warranted. This one,
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. That was the best celebration I've ever seen.
It was. I don't think I've, at least in my time of watching footy, I don't think I've seen a better celebration.
Yeah.
So, or a more aerobic celebration, I should say.
Literally.
Maybe one day, boys, think I'll be a little bit too MA15 plus for a potty, says Cheese. Nah, that's why you just do a potty on Spotify or some shit.
Yeah, my potties can get a little bit wild too. So on other people's channels, I'm pretty low key, but on my own, I just no filter.
I wonder how much you'd be raging if we were on your channel right now.
Yeah, probably a lot. So I'm.
Brad's on his best behavior, guys. Let's give him a round of applause.
Yeah, literally, I haven't had to be this good in a long time. I feel like I'm at my parents' house.
He's a good boy, guys. He's a good boy. Going, will Day to Merit Smart or wait for Merit to hopefully go down in price eventually? If you're talking like next week, I would hold. I wouldn't want to trade from someone. I mean, if you've got the buys calculated and you can manage to have someone on that buy, maybe. But I'm not too sure. Like Merritt was a very much a support role last week, from my opinion, from what I watched of the game. This week he was better, but I don't think he's a must bring in.
No, and that's on the back of 4 goals as well. I think the buy is too much to sort of skip by. If you go on Day, you just bank 50k and take Finn Callahan or Chera with the juicy fixture, whoever you trust more to be your best M8, because that's where they'll probably fall.
Yeah, I agree. If you're going to pick Chera or Callahan, go Callahan. Just keeping in mind that Chera has, some injury cloud around him, and if you were going to start injury people like a Richards or a Chera, you start them in your team. You don't necessarily trade into injury-prone players.
100% agree.
So, all right. Matthew, thanks for the awesome stream. What do we think on Callahan or Green? Thanks for tuning in, Matthew. Appreciate the kind words. Personally, I think you have to go Callahan here just because there's a price difference of I think 50k or just a little bit more. I can't remember Green's price off the top of my head. But I think Callahan probably has a bit more steam in the tank. Like we've just seen that man run in the preseason and in the round 0. And I think Green is I think Callahan actually benefits off Green, not the other way around.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Green in the side, Callahan's role is way better because he feeds it out to him. Green is more more inside than what Callahan is. So I think it is Green's the guy that passes to Finn. So I think it's really helpful for his scoring.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the one thing I'd like to watch, because I'd be kind of reluctant to both have Callahan and Green in my side.
Yep.
Because then I worry it might become like a Newcomb and Day situation where one might pop off, the other quietens down a little bit. But the only time we're really going to see that, especially if Callahan's now kind of stepped into that cog 2 position, just kind of need to watch it a bit more. Like we still got plenty of time. I don't think Tom Green's going to go up too much because he's got a delayed price rise.
Yeah, because he didn't play. Yeah, I think he does. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can kind of watch Green in round 3 to kind of see where he's at and then make up your mind on that.
Yeah.
She says, I think Richards is the one you should have started, not trade into, but who knows, he could be a gun all year. And exactly what we said before. When Dale and Richards, given that they've had an interrupted preseason, it is hard to trade into those players. And as I said, if you had a failed Day and you had the cash around, maybe you could consider it. But I'd probably be more inclined to go like a Rosie or someone who hasn't had an interrupted preseason because you're buying into time, actually.
On the flip side to that, I want to play devil's advocate to this. If a lot of people go Will Day to Callahan, Shearer, and Rosie, do you really want to do that, or do you just want to go for a pod now and bring in a guy that you think no one's going to grab? Or do you just want to go with the crowd and be the same ranking? You almost go for broke without the price rises, and you just go for a pod that you're like, all right, he's popped off. He's passed the eye test. Maybe his first score wasn't amazing, but he looked better than that score. and you just run with
100%.
it now. No point in trading in a guy
100%.
that's 25% owned.
I agree.
You know?
And that's why I was like kind of not I've been wanting to fade Baz like before teams were locked. And anyone who watches my content would know that I was very against it and I just didn't like it. Just so happens it came to fruition. I don't have to get him in. So, there was a good gut pick there. I followed some gut picks with Dunkley and starting Richards. Richards injury prone, but we know what he can do. Dunks never really saw a ceiling up until that first game. There's always going to be risk when you stray away from the pack, but that's where the reward is as well.
Yep.
So it's just what can you stomach? Like everyone's got different risk aversion. Everyone plays it differently. Some people like having 2 or 3 pods. Some people like having 2 pods per line. There's so many different ways you can go about doing it. But if you like Richards, get him in. Like there's no like wrong answer here. If you like him and you think he's going to do well, back him in. Easy.
Yeah, that's right.
Ozjan, got Stewart and Short boost time. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be using up a boost next week.
Bad. Short was always a trap, only because I'm a Tigers man, so I've always had the Short pick. I'm not saying I've got a crystal ball, but yeah, Short's always been a preseason trap for a while now.
And like, I think this is the really interesting thing as well. Is it's really interesting to see people like, because obviously I'm a Catters man, and then like you're a Tigs man. You said to lay off Short, I said to lay off Baz. Now look where we're at.
Yeah.
Essentially. Like, yes, Baz got a spike score out, but that 26% wing time on a narrow ground, like he had pretty much all variables way in his favor there. But the reason why I faded him ended up coming to fruition of that injury, because this is a different type of injury as well. So he had his ACL injury, then he had some soreness on the opposite knee, and now it's a calf issue.
Yep.
I don't like that at all. I'd be very wary bringing him in. If you started him, you absolutely hold him and you ride him until he's actually broken, by all means. But unless he comes back and pops tons and you get him in for the bubble, I'm not interested. All right, we'll get to your comments soon, Jack. We're going to quickly go through the Bombers. So we spoke about this man, Merritt. He got a massive score, and I think, again, we just ate that to a big bump up in those goals.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think there's really much more to talk about. It's Merritt. We know what we can get from him pretty consistently. I do worry that he's been so consistent for so long. I do worry this is the year where we might see a drawback.
Potentially with the time he spends up forward, but I think he could even get forward DPP round 6 if we're lucky. So,
one can hope. But imagine a Merritt and like Petrarca.
Oh,
it's probably unlikely to go Petrarca because he's getting like 80% CBAs at the moment. But
I think Chad Warner is a shout for DPP.
Chad Warner. Yeah. Rowan Marshall was looking juicy, but with Boyd going out and getting dropped, and I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, agreed.
Cardwell is putting his hand up. That's 2 weeks of solid scores back to back, and he's only at 500k.
I like it. I really like this pick a lot.
I almost got him in as well because I was thinking about what moves can I make instead of going Baz.
His TOG is low though. Is his TOG concerning for you? 71%.
Look, not really. Just because Cardwell is more of that impact player. Like he gets involved in the most important passages and plays. Like if there's a swing or a rotation around half back, you can almost guarantee Cardwell's in there.
Yep.
It's like the transition scoring that I think Cardwell gets really involved in, which brings up those points. And he gets amongst it. Like he had 11 contested possessions, which is up there for the team. So, yeah, I've got an eye on Cardwell. He was good last season, towards the end of last season as well. So could be a shout. The buy obviously painful, but
yeah,
is what it is. Martin, find a home, find a role, please.
Yeah, that's what I feel for him. I think he's best at halfback flank and just pushing up to stoppages when the 6-6 rules out of play.
Yeah, it's a bit. I don't know. I think I saw a couple of people start him. I think he's an okay pick, but for the price, I think you can do a lot better. Did you hold Sardis?
Yeah, I got off scot-free. I had other issues, and then I got kissed again. I'll admit when I get kissed with luck, and I was going to trade him, and then shit happened in my side, so I just held. But I was definitely an advocate for trading, and sometimes, again, you just get lucky. Other carnage happens in your side, and then a rookie pops off, and you're like, okay, I wasn't going to hold him, but you'll take the luck where you get some. So, yeah. I think he is a hold now, obviously, because his break-even is going to be so low. Obviously, like, you're not going to go sideways. He's just going to produce cash gen, and you flick him out as soon as you can.
Yeah, exactly. As I said, I think Boss and Sardis were always a hold. I think the only exception we're making with Sardis is that there was concern he was going to be named sub. And if that was the case, he was definitely a trade out. But if he wasn't, I think we could back him in to do something. And like the first half didn't make me happy. Like he only played basically a quarter in the first half, sat the rest of it on the bench, which was frustrating. But he was on track. He ended up doing really well. He had a really good second half, which he did last week as well. So I think he's just got a pretty... I don't know if that Pog actually plays to his benefit in this instance, because he would have more of a tank compared to the rest, where they're getting gassed out, and because he's had a bit more time on the bench, he's got a bit more of a fuller tank to get those clearances and contested possessions.
Yeah, but potentially.
Anyway, I think it's a definite hold now. I don't think you trade him out. The break-even's going to be juicy. You hold him out to the bye at least. First week after bye, maybe Parrish is back, and you just monitor and see what happens. If he's dropped, trade him out, go from there. Then it's pretty easy. But thankfully, we held on. We did have around 50 people in here as well, by the way. So thanks all for joining.
Holy shit.
I will say, for those that have joined, make sure you give the stream a like and subscribe to both my channel and also to Supercoach Pro. Go give Brad some love. Is there anyone really else to talk about? I mean, look, Pryor did okay. Reed copped it.
They're going to be slow burns, both of them, aren't they? Really?
I don't even know if Reed's going to burn. Like, I feel like he's got like maybe 2 more. I think he might be done after the buy. I think we might get 1 price rise out of him, and then he's going to like not stop making cash. Yeah,
but Adelaide have a huge tool set up. They were running Thilthorpe, Tex, and Fogarty, so they're always going to get baffed.
Yeah. That was my concern about fielding Reed, was because of their monster forward line, and I was right.
Yeah.
Why is that Kako?
I didn't start him. Yeah, I didn't start him for that reason. Did you start him?
I had him on bench. I grabbed him because of the ceiling that he could have. And that was literally it. Is like, if it's an easy matchup, I might put him on field, but otherwise he's just on the bench. I had a feeling this wasn't going to be the game.
Yeah. Still better than my Dolan F8.
Better. Well, this is the thing, right? We'll get into Pal Pepper later, but I was throwing up between Kako and Pal Pepper. And I'm so happy I fielded Pal Pepper.
Yeah, I was going to say...
That's an easy 50-point difference just from that.
Literally.
So. Yeah. Anyway, Bombers they show moments when they're there, but I feel like they're just playing a bit, I won't say selfishly, but I just feel like the run-on handballs from Mark's taken, and just like the lookouts for like the nice clean kicks and chips are just not a thing that they want to do. They just want to bomb it and hope for the best.
It's kind of like as soon as they get scared, they just go into their shell a little bit and start going away from their game. For me, like Essendon look good for like a good half. When they're in the game, no worries. But as soon as they get shaky and they have a few goals kicked against them in a row, they just start to all crumble as a team. The midfield's always dominant, but just seems like the forward line can't get going. And they're missing so many key players. Like Peter Wright's huge for them, like all those key targets they're missing. So I think Essendon just, if they could get everyone on the park and had everyone fit, that'd actually be a really good side. Parish still not playing either. They're just playing kids as well. You got to remember with Essendon. So, and it's Scott, and he's a shit coach. So
Well, he's a Scot. You can't trust a Scot if we've learned anything.
Yeah, he's the worst Scot.
Yeah, and that's hard to do considering he's got Chris to battle with. But Jack says the Sullivan had a really good game, solid 88 today. Yeah, I think when we look at the scores as well, I'll be curious. I think Humphreys did quite well, and I think that's purely just because without Stewart, there was just a lot more opportunity. You know, I don't actually mind the idea of if you needed to fix up other things potentially, and I just have one rookie on field at the moment. There is a world where I could go Pez down to like O'Sullivan if there's Stewie out, and Colin Jasny is also out. I know Cheese asked when do we think he stays when pretty much Colo's back.
Yep.
Straight from Chris's mouth, he doesn't. He's literally a fill-in for Colo until he comes back. Now, again, this is from a Scot, so like take it with a grain of salt. But in a presser last week before the game, they were talking about Sullivan and Colo Jasny when they were coming back. And it was very heavily hinted that because Colin Jasny went down, it gave Sullivan the opportunity to show. Now, from this week, I think he's definitely put a hand up to try and work around that. But last week, we didn't see anything special from him. So it might change because he's kind of given more of an opportunity now with Stewart out, which I would assume for at least a week, maybe even longer, depending on what scans confirm and so on.
Yep.
So I would hold off on bringing Sullivan in until we know how long Stewart's out for, because I dare say it's more dependent on that now than it is Colo coming back.
I'm going to have a hot take here. I'm going to call it early. I reckon Stewart out for 6 to 8.
You know, I hope so, because that just makes my trade easy for me. If he was only out for a week, I might second guess and might just hold because it's best 18. So I'm hoping it's more than like 2 weeks. Not that I want to drop him.
Yeah. If it's PCL, he's cooked.
For sure. For sure. The Fat McIntosh scored more than Short. Yeah, that's interesting. How do you feel about that as a Tigers man, that McIntosh scored more than Short?
I hate it. Short should be way better than McIntosh on paper. But the issue is Short's not getting any kick-outs. They're using Miller to kick out and Vlosten to kick out. And then they're targeting the likes of Banks up the wing. Then they're targeting... they're not really short chipping. Sometimes they're just belting at 70 metres and hoping that someone crumbs it from the front and plays on from there. There's just... I don't know, too many other options. They've got Tom Brown in there who's a beautiful kick. And just, I don't know what they're doing. I don't think Short's relevant now because of the kick-ins have just gone to him, which doesn't make sense because he's a beautiful user of the ball and loves a 1-2 when he's on, he's on. But I think Uze's killed his role. We've got to remember that Dimmer was the one that made Jaden Short relevant for Supercoach, not Uze.
Straight from the Tigers supporter's mouth, guys. I mean, I purely faded Short because of this man. So... I trust that 100%.
Well, Short averaged 83 with Uze Supercoach last year. Prior to that, when Dimmer was around, it was like 90s, 98 and whatnot. So
yeah, I think people got caught up on the potential shift, you know, of not having a Rioli back there as well, and Baker being moved, and then a really brief comment by Uze saying that they're going to try and slow it down. Like it was that kind of confirmation bias that people wanted.
Yeah, everyone took that and ran with that statement.
Hey, we've all done it, so no one's innocent in this. We've all done it.
Yeah.
Down under wonder what's happening. Perryman to Whitfield and these defensive rookies. Yeah, most likely. I think if you've got other problems, like I think a few people will have a few spot fires based on this round, and this round's not even over yet, so who knows what else could happen. Like there's been something from every game at this point that's kind of thrown us like. Yeah, it's annoying, but I feel like a Perryman to Whitfield is probably going to be one of the most common trades we might see if people have the cash to make it happen. Otherwise, it's probably, I think we said before, a Perryman down to Fraser.
Yeah, 100%.
Yaron. Oh, no. Are you a Blue supporter, Yaron? Because if you are, just remind me to do a welfare check on you next week. All right? I think we all need to go check in. But yeah, Voss, think of Voss playing Crips in the Rock, might become Saligo this week. That's a good shout. When we get to Adelaide, I was actually going to highlight Saligo. Daddy Callahan, love it. Short to Rankin. Yep. I mean, I don't have any issues with those trades. What about you, Brad?
I don't have issues with that. I'm probably not as hot on Soygo as a pod to go to, but you got to take risks somewhere. And if it lands you in 1% by the end of the season, you'll be laughing. He's due for a breakout, though. Definitely due for a breakout.
For sure. I mean, he looks good. I mean, his past 2 games, he's tonned up. I think he just got over a ton this week and went 114, if I'm not mistaken, last week. So I was looking at his numbers because I was like making a list of potential targets to move in. And he was on there, just as a little pod.
Yep. Love it.
Cheese says Adelaide versus Merritt. Pretty much.
Literally. Yeah.
It was literally like Adelaide versus Batman and Robin.
Has anyone checked in on Merritt's shoulders? They're sore from carrying that body side.
Mate, he could carry the world with those shoulders the way he's been carrying Essendon around.
Literally.
CWT just figured the projection works, so it goes on every fielded player you have, including your non-playing Loop's projected score. Doesn't take into account the playing emergency scores. Yeah, this is the thing though. I would actually need to look into this to see if there's actual official documentation by Supercoach. I'm sure there is. I just can't be asked going to find it on how it works. But definitely worth looking into if you're not too sure. At the end of the day, don't really worry about the projection. Projection is just going to make you stress and worry and add more emotional ties to the games. And you probably only want to be tied to the one game of the club you support. Like I fell into that trap last season. I was looking at the projection. I was looking at all the scores. I was having 2 screens looking at the scores and the games, and I just kind of lost a bit of. I still enjoyed it and loved it, but kind of stopped watching the footy and just watched the numbers. But I'm sure everyone experiences that. Jordan's got some trades. We got Perryman to Whitfield. We got to Nandos. Anderson. Nandos is Anderson. Yep, cool. And then a Patton to Conroy Son. Yeah, I think they're actually pretty good trades. I don't mind them. I'd still wait to see Stewie's injury and potentially an update on Colo. So probably just wait till Tuesday to lock those trades in before you do anything, just in case Colo comes back like a week early. Because the report is from Colo also that he could have started the season, but they're leading him into it. So if Stewie comes out and that puts pressure to actually bring Colo in sooner, it may affect Sullivan's role. So just tread lightly.
I'd go Sullivan instead. I'd go actually Bice. He took quick kick-ins and came on and scored 50 in a quarter, basically, from Sydney. So, yeah, Bice is where it's at, mate. I don't think he gets dropped from here on out. Huge call, but he's definitely best 22 on the Swans side. He was cutting it up like something crazy when I watched that. He passed the eye test. I've got him in, and he's got a bye next week, and I still bought him in this week. Like, I don't care. That's how good he is.
Definitely. I think we were hoping he was going to step into that next tier that we saw a glimpse of last season. It looks like that's happening. I mean, that goal from Raken before he got subbed off, that was a strut down the boundary line, and then he's like, no worries, he just kicks it. That
and the Power Pepper goal this week were the 2 best goals I've seen so far for the round.
Yep. Cheese endorses the Pordwell. Am I saying that right, Rockets? Pordwell.
I always mispronounce names, so I'm surprised I don't get a lot of those comments myself in my streams, to be honest.
Pordwell. I think Rockets, if you want really good pronunciations, go check out Scott Father, please. Yeah, just be warned if Parrish is back. I doubt he stays in the team. Yeah. That was always the concern of massive strike against Sardis was it's literally just a time thing until Parrish gets back. But I think Sardis is probably the least of your worries next week.
Oh, surely I don't know. That annoys me if that's for real.
Yeah, that's it. Matthew, is short to Whitfield this week a good idea? Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right. Before we get into your comment, Ojan, we're going to quickly go through the Crows. I am trying to balance out the chat and the game, so bear with us, guys. You guys have been absolutely awesome. So, Crouch. Why don't we have him in our team? I know a lot of people hate on Crouch, but why? He seems to pop out some consistent scores.
I don't know. He's just sometimes like he could definitely be out of the best 22. Like he's been shaky job security last year. Like if they don't want to be so one dimensional because they can't. How long can you run Laird and Crouch and players like that are handball and merchants in the same side sometimes? So other than that, like he hasn't really showed over the years huge ceilings consistently. Like he's always been consistent, but never like, oh, I'm going to VC or C Crouch this week that I can remember anyway. So don't know, just not a hot flavour.
Yeah. I just see a lot of people just like, especially like as you mentioned, like Laird and Crouch. I think I heard Geordie talk about it as well. How like he's not even sure how they're still in the team.
Yeah,
because you've just got better talent like ahead of them that can fill that spot.
literally.
It is what it is. Dawson, Mr. Fix-It for Adelaide. Again, very much like a merit type, just putting the team on his shoulders. He looks absolutely solid. I think he'd be quite happy at 550. Absolute great pickup.
Yeah, he's a bargain. He's so good.
Again, Soligo, a little mid-pricer. Does look solid if you are looking for a pod. You trust it. I mean, it's hard for me outside of Dawson. It's hard for me to look at Dawson and Rankin are the only ones because Rankin has a bit more of a solid ground role in the forward line as well as mids. But outside of Dawson and Rankin, I feel sketchy going any other mids for Adelaide just because of the rotations.
Agreed. The only other one relevant is Curtin as a rookie. They scored 82, but that's against Essendon, so it's not impressive against them.
Yeah, I mean, he actually showed a lot of promising traits. Like he was getting, I think, he was playing kind of like the high fourth tall forward. He was pretty much grabbing it from like halfback, center field, and then giving it to Thorpe, who was then giving it to Tex, who was then giving it to what's his name? Fogarty.
Yep.
Yeah, like he's getting involved, and if they keep that momentum up, like he's actually we're gonna have to keep an eye on him because that's a decent rookie. Sid Draper again, the sub came off again for I think he just copped a balky or a bad knee hit and then just blocked off, but came back on, so I think he's fine. But again, I don't really think we need to be worrying about him. Nix is just going to wear him as an absolute sub. Pete Link, speaking about failed picks.
Yeah, we sort of saw that in the preseason that he wasn't, second or third banana. So he was hot for a month. He was like flavor of the month, and then died out when we saw his preseason role.
Yeah. So hopefully, if you had him in the first round, hopefully you just kind of saw the writing on the wall, and you just traded him down to a rookie that you needed.
Yep.
We'll see how we go. We'll go back to the comments just quickly. Ozjan, what do you guys reckon that short scores versus the Saints? Break even will be like 95, 100. Don't know if I should focus on other areas for a week. I'll let you take this one, Brad.
Well, Saints week points to halfback flankers a lot and just general defenders a fair bit as well. Just noticing some of the games. So for me, I actually think everyone trades him out, but I reckon this week he goes 95. But then it's sort of even more good. What do you do with those 270s and a 95? I think he'll probably hit his break even, whatever it is, in that high 90s this week. But it's after that, what is he going to do? I don't think I'd look at it one more time. I think I'd be just aggressive. But there is a lot of carnage, so a lot of people won't be able to fix him. They'll be looking at other players like Stewart, etc. So I still don't like Short, though. I don't think he's top 8 or even top 10 this year. But yeah, just look at the eye test is what you got to look at.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'll do better against the Saints for sure, but I also think that's where you're going to get trapped again, is because you're already on the fence after these 2 weeks. You're kind of putting yourself in a really tough position that if Short goes 100 or maybe 105 at best, you can't really trade out of that because now you're kind of back in the belief that he's decent, and then he goes 75 the next week, and then by then I guarantee you've probably got an injury to take care of, got 2 dead rookies that got dropped that you need to move on. If he's a problem next week for you, just move him on to an absolute keeper. Like just put it to bed, call it a bad pick and move on. Yeah. You got to take the risk. Didn't pay out. Like that's the problem with mid prices. Pez failed. Short didn't fail as hard, but is still a fail in my opinion. Pete Link failed. It's just how the game goes sometimes. Rankin was subbed off just because. essentially, because they could.
I believe it was leather poisoning.
Exactly it. Leather poisoning.
Yeah.
Nah, in all seriousness, they just wanted to manage him and make sure he's in, pretty much his peak shape for every game. They saw him doing a lot of running down the boundary and all that stuff. Like, okay, don't hurt yourself. Come off now.
Yeah,
But
like when you're
that's
playing
literally
against witches' hats, you can afford to do that.
Yep. Cheese, 5 years in the system for Reed now. No more excuses. Bloke's got to go. I mean, look, if Reed had a bit of size to him and could put on a bit of weight, he actually would be much better because he could actually go up against the bigger forwards like Fogarty. But he just doesn't have, I don't think he has the strength to combat. And like, I think the issue as well, he's had a lot of injury interruptions and it's just his positioning. Like, it's all the commentators could talk about all game was just his positioning. Because he would do one thing wrong, then he'd try to do the right thing, and then Fogarty would switch it up, and he's just not there. He's not there yet, but could be a slow burn, could turn around next week, and we'll see who has Essendon, who they're up against next week, before their bye. But yeah, I don't know. He's a hold. He's the least of my problems at the moment. He's still making cash at this point.
Yep.
Garbage. Yep. Matthew rates the Armstrong pick. Interesting. What are your thoughts on Harry Armstrong?
I didn't see his scores, but yeah, he kicked 2 late goals in the last quarter. I think he'll be a bit of a slow burn. I think Abs has got him at like F8. Not one for me to pick in Supercoach, but I reckon he'll be an absolute jet in a couple of years' time. Just look good positioning where he took the marks, crashes packs. Yeah, he's going to be a really good prospect for the Tigers. So I like him. I don't think I'd trade into him, but I definitely like him. All the rookies that Richmond have blooded this year look good. Just, yeah, we're just going to be those games. We're either going to get thumped or we're going to be in it with 5 points and that's it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Speaking of Richmond, we'll quickly go through their scores. We kind of spoken about the main ones. Short, not enough. Miller seemed to steal some of the kick-ins as well, from memory.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And
So,
they'll just long down
great.
the line.
Not great. Campbell seems to be playing pretty well. Like, seems to be the most energetic player of your team.
Yeah, I'm
surprised.
surprised.
Pick up. One thing I wasn't expecting, Nank the Tank. 67.
I don't know what happened there. I actually can't tell you.
Sweet had his number.
What did Sweet score on the other
Sweet
side?
got 100.
Yeah. I don't know what it was. Like, Nank couldn't feed it out to anybody in the midfield anyway. We got dominated by, like, whatever that is, 72 points in the end. So maybe there's just no scaling for Richmond players, but Nank didn't look like he was himself anyway for the game. Not saying it was injury cloud, but
yeah,
when you get thumped, where do you think the points are going to go anyway, I suppose?
Yeah, definitely. I actually was quite impressed with Blight up forward.
Yeah, 100%.
I think he's going to be a really good swingman, kind of like a Sicily, I think, given his height. If he can fine-tune his form, I think he's going to be a great player for you boys.
I think if he stays down back in 2 or 3 years' time, he could win an AA for sure.
Ooh, be cool. Let's mark that down, guys. So when it happens in a few years' time, Brad's going to have another "I told you so" moment because he's had a few of them this week already.
Yeah, my side's only 5K rank at the moment, and there's what's so funny, like 30 points between like 5K and 2K, just ridiculous sometimes.
I'm sitting at like 1,113 at the moment. I'm fully expecting that's going to drop down to like 10K. Yeah, just because of how close everything is at the moment. So I'm prepared for a world of hurts. Okay, Laylaw was disappointing. Laylaw.
Yeah, the midfield dominance just couldn't get near it. He kicked a good goal, but it's going to be a tough season for the Richmond rookies. They're going to give you spike games, and then they're going to have these games where they just get trounced and no one turns up. So, yeah, played all forward as well.
He did too. He did. The really interesting fact was I fielded Reed thinking at the end of the game I'd made a mistake and not fielded Trainer. Turns out I made the right call. And somehow some way or form. I mean, I made the wrong call because I didn't put Pryor on field because I had him and I thought Reid would do better, but he clearly was not fit. And then Trainer comes out and pulls a 24.
Literally, I don't smoke or anything, but that sort of score just makes you want to just puff on a dart for a 10-second period.
I'm just imagining the what's his name? The Batman actor of that infamous photo where he's just out there having a ciggy and he's just got the stress. I can't remember his fucking name.
In the rain too, just for drama.
Yeah, in the rain too. Yeah.
That's what I'll do.
I'll quickly go through Port. Connor Rosie. I saw most people. You had him as a C, didn't you? As
captain? Straight captain him, knowing that he'd just dominate and tear us a new one.
Bit of a slow start.
Yeah, it was a bit. He was on like 29 at the first quarter. It's because he gave a couple free kicks away early too. That's what always hurts us. Yeah. Holding the ball.
Otherwise, as a captain score, I think in this round, you absolutely take it because you never know what's going to happen.
Yep.
Farrell, 104. I know we had someone, there was a comment I saw. Yeah, Yaron. Thoughts on Farrell back to 100s in contrasting games?
I've got him in draft. I love the pick. I'd actually go there if you wanted a pod from Pez and you didn't have enough money to get to Dale. That's where I'd be going. Not Eamon. I'd be going Farrell 100%.
All right, guys. If you see Farrell on my team, you know why. Putting it out there nice and quick. Logan Evans, 101 as well. I think this is one of those games where, again, we kind of saw their backline pop off all together. I guess that Houston role distributed. So again, I probably, outside of Farrell, who I think he actually gets to a few CBAs as well. I think he's the only one. I know Evans spent some time forward. If you had Evans, for whatever reason, you definitely hold him. But
absolutely,
why you started him, I have no clue, and I want to have an interview with you. But good choice, I'd say. Sweet 100. I don't think he's on anyone's radar. I think he was a good cash cow last year, but even then, it still was a dicey pick. Now for his price, I don't think you go there. The savior, Mr. Power Pepper. My goodness, it's all those who backed me in to keep him on the field and just keep him in my team.
Yeah,
absolute lifesavers. So
I got kissed hard. I couldn't trade him because of the Baz move, so I put Baz on field and took the SSP 83. I was a huge advocate to I don't get it all right, clearly, for trading him. I guess at 83, he looked better than at 83 as well, to be honest. He actually looked like he was going to do a ton. If he had a kick straight, those other two, that would have been a 101 easily, maybe even 110. So Power Pepper's definitely a hold. It makes it tricky because if Ashcroft pops off and goes 100 as well, you know Levi's Ashcroft's going to make more money, but you're not going to waste two trades on just a cash cow.
And this is what led me to my trades this week, which for those that haven't seen the video, it was two dead rookies basically to Levi and Lindsay. So it was Flynn who got dropped and it was Hasty who got dropped. Now, the reason why I got them out is some people held Hasty for another rainy day to correct. If Hasty played the way he did, then gets subbed off in that game and then gets dropped, there's something going on with coaching staff that they don't like about him, which means they're probably going to throw him in the VFL to correct whatever it is they don't like. So we're probably not going to see him for a while. So I think that's a safe drop. Flynn, I don't think we need to discuss. I mean, the coach has come out and said that it's based on performance and there's no guaranteed ruck one position. So,
yeah.
I mean, there is chances that BJ Williams comes out and absolutely shits the bed and he's like, oh, better bring Flynn back. But if you got him at your R2, scary. I mean, it was scary if you were starting him at R2. So, anyway.
Yeah, I warned Steve too. I said I would be going Flynn R2, and he's like, no, I'll be fine. So Horn Francis, though, the people in the comments will talk about that. His reason for that score was he played basically full forward. I don't know if he was worried about a Macintosh tag or something, but I don't know. And he gave so many free kicks away as well. Maybe it was something to do with he was told to get in an ice bath. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Horn Francis and Pal Pepper for a moment there looked like they were more interested in starting a UFC cage match than actually playing good football. And I'm actually there for it because we needed Horn Francis to do something or a reason to trade him. So if he got suspended for 2 weeks, I mean, that's an easy trade out. And
Who?
yes, Cheese, thank you. Ben Affleck. That's exactly who I was thinking of for that picture that we're talking about, the guy taking a cigarette in the rain.
Who would you back in a 1v1, Power Pepper or Maynard in a fight?
Whoa. I actually go Pal Pepper.
I reckon Power Pepper's got him every day of the week too.
I reckon Pal Pepper would headbutt the absolute crap out of him with that bold, shiny head and take him out. Just headshot him. We saw him shoulder charge Darcy Cameron. He would do that to Maynard, and he would win.
Oh, that'd be the nicest thing to see. My favourite thing this weekend was the Rory Lobb incident with Mason Cox. I hope Rory Lobb's hands okay. Yeah, just bang in the face. That was beautiful. Sorry, Pine supporters.
Yeah, sorry, Pine supporters. I mean, I'm sure you guys were very excited to have, Cox back in your team. Not really. I don't know why you guys brought him back, but
yeah, Lobb did you guys a favour.
He did. Before we get into the last game, let's get back into comments. Where was I at? Yeah, so we had Crazy Fit. Sinclair 100 points second half. Yeah, Sinclair did very, very solid. What did he end up on? 145. Woof.
Wow.
Wowee. Wasn't sure he was capable of doing this after last week because it was pretty mediocre. I mean, Saints in general were very mediocre last week and absolutely shocking. But this week, I mean, hard.
He was coming off injury too. That's the only reason I didn't pick him over Zorko is because I didn't want his injury concern. Last year when he had an injury concern, he started off slow. I was listening to the Third Man Up was telling us in the DMs about that. Roscoe was warned us about Sinclair, maybe a bit of a cold start and then does that. But I did listen to him and I went Zorko anyway and he scored a 139 last week, so I can't be mad.
I mean, this is the thing though, like we've now seen two polar opposites in regards of like rounds. You had round 1 where Pepper went for 18 and then you've had round 2 where he goes for 83. You have last round when Sinclair went for 95 and then this week when he goes for 145. Like this is just how Supercoach goes.
Literally.
Yaron is a Pie supporter, so I don't think he would have appreciated that comment there about Cox there, Brad.
My apologies.
He's just gonna withdraw that donation now.
Yeah, literally.
Matthew says, I'm not sure whether to hold Baz or could just be precautions of him missing. I'm going to say missing more. Look, I still feel that if you have Baz, you at least hold for one week because it is best 18 and just wait till there's more information on Tuesday from confirmed scans or whatever it might be. I did see, I think it got posted up in one of our group chats that someone reached out to Smith on like Instagram and he's like, oh yeah, no, I'm all good. I'll be back in next week, sort of deal, which is really hilarious. But,
yeah. In that position, I just think you loop him. And if your loop scores a 40, then yeah, you could trade it Baz if you really need a best 18 score and you don't got a lot of ceilings in your best 18. But I don't know next week's fixture. But if your loop pops off an 83 like Pepper does, you just hold another week because best 18 doesn't really matter. And I'll take an 83 to cover Baz any day of the week because I thought Baz, if he had played, would have got the Winhager tag. So I was always expecting about an 80 from Baz this week anyway. So for me, I didn't really care. And I was just sort of hoping 63%, not all 63%, but I was hoping someone would jump off and he plays next week and smashes out another 140.
And that's like the benefit I think that holders are going to have is at least for me, or those that didn't start him, there was a reason why we didn't start him. And we've now got that bit of confirmation bias. So we're probably going to be reluctant and we're going to have other problems next week, such as a Pez, as a Short, as a Stewart, where we're not going to be able to bring in Baz. So if he is back and he pops off, you guys are well ahead. So you do have that in your favor. So I would 100% hold him. And just if he doesn't play next week, still loop him. Like if you don't have a Stone, like because you had Stone as you loop if you had him this week. But unless you have like a Kako in your front forward line, I don't think you really have. So who? There's Hawks, Essendon.
That's it, isn't it?
I think that's it. So I can't imagine many people outside of Kako, unless you have like an Edwards, you don't really have that loop option. So if Baz doesn't play next week in best 18, you now have the ability to loop some rookie scores. So I think that's valuable in itself.
I'm pretty sure Caco's owned by like 60 or 70% owned anyway, and it's probably in the forward half, so they'll have a shot at it.
Yeah. He says that you, Brad, you mispronounce a lot of things. Just let it right on.
I really do. I never get the comments saying about anything. They just let me run with it, which is nice. Thank you, Cheese.
He's a legend. Bill Boys, Whitfield or Dale for next week?
Dale.
You have to go Dale at that price point. I think with all the corrections that we're making, that almost 70k-ish? Oh, sorry, it'll be more like 60. 65, 70k roundabouts. That's going to help you correct a rookie that gets dropped or injured or something like that, or potentially move from a mid-price to a Rosie at some point. Like there's a lot more things you can do with 70k than you can do with just getting a Whitfield, who again is a bit of a glass cannon. He takes a big hit. He's probably getting to sit on the pine for a fair bit. So
that could even get you like a Will Day to a Liberatore.
Exactly. So we spoke about Farrell. Maxi thinks Dale's a good pick. Jeez, if Crouch at 8%, Tog, he'd be Jack McRae, 13 kicks. Be a record for Crouch, though. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Is time on ground has a massive influence on whether a player is viable or not. Like, again, we saw it with Sardis last week. Only played like half the game, but his like points per minute was solid. But the points per minute mean nothing if they're not playing. So
yeah, that's right.
It's a hard one. Bella Magic, Horn Francis to Rakin.
I think you're wasting a trade because I think Horn Francis from here on out after this, Horn Francis only played forward because of Lukosius got injured.
Yep.
So I think if we see Port bring in a tall, Horn Francis goes back into the middle. So
I agree. I think there were reports or suggestions that like Radical League comes in and just fixes that tall issue, potentially moves forward. I know Radical League is probably not a straight replacement, but some people were suggesting that. But regardless, I'm very much, sometimes you can be aggressive, like as Brad has been saying, you be aggressive through your trades, and if you don't like it, you get them out. Or you take the approach where you maybe have like a 2-game minimum, where you give them 2 games, they shit the bed on the first game, and they come back in the second. You're like, okay, maybe it was just a isolation game. But if they go pretty bad those 2 weeks in a row, then you can be pretty confident that you need to get them out, and you probably have more confidence on who to trade in instead of potentially going early on someone that maybe just had a spike game. So that's my thoughts. Do want to say thank you for all those tuning in currently. I am not sure when we're going to wrap up stream. I'm not sure how much time you have free, Brad, but I'm pretty much going to keep rolling until we pretty much class off the games and then just spend some time in the comments. There are 61 of you in here at the moment, which is absolutely crazy. So thank you all for showing up on a Saturday night of all times to talk chaos. So me and Brad both appreciate you guys being here with us. It's been an absolute joy of a ride this round, and we've still got more games to go, and that scares the crap out of me. I don't know how you're feeling about tomorrow, Brad, but I'm scared.
Yeah, I'm going to wear brown pants to justify what you were saying.
Yeah, it's actually quite funny though, because I was listening to Supercoach Edge, and there's now a shtick where now they've got cameras. They apparently don't wear pants when they do their videos.
That's terrifying.
Go annoy Damo about if he wears pants when he's recording videos or not. He'll absolutely love it.
Laywall style.
Yeah. Legit. Bill Boys, man, if Oliver goes to shit this week, everything wouldn't be that. I mean, look, I think we're skeptical on Oliver because we saw what happened last year. And we may see resemblance of that this year. I think last week's a bit hard to judge off because of the conditions and everything. But again, the conditions were kind of like perfect for Oliver. So it's a hard one. Where do you sit with Oliver at the moment?
I think this would be a different discussion if we paid 600k for him. We paid like 450 for him. We started him. We're just going to have to, I don't know, eventually get day costs for him in 6 rounds' time. That's what you do with an Oliver if you really hate him when they're about the same price potentially. I think he goes 110 against North. I don't got a crystal ball, but that's my guess.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. As I said, I think the price factor is like really the main factor why we got him in. Again, we're not paying upwards of $550 for an Oliver like we did last season. And then, then he goes crap. He's at a reasonable price where you can kind of comfortably take the risk. This one's just a pure question for you, Brad.
I think he's taking the Mickey.
He's taking the Mickey. 100% he's taking the Mickey.
Yeah, my brain wasn't braining then. I looked at the scores before and I'm like, how did he correlate to this? But yeah, he's definitely taking the Mickey out of my Tigers. So yeah.
I mean, top 6 in the Tigers team, maybe. Is he
top 600? Top 6 Supercoach scoring overall. Yeah, top 600.
Yeah. Supercoach still says love seeing everyone jump off Sardis and hop on STK. And what did STK end up going?
Oh, you don't want to know.
Did no one from Geelong turn up?
That hurt your soul.
Right, as soon as Stuart went down, I'll be honest, I checked out.
I knew that's when you guys were cooked. In all honesty, there was no spare. I knew you guys were cooked then. And then I saw you guys come back in the 4th, and I thought, oh my God, they're going to do it.
When Atkins is our top scorer, man. Oh, that's... All right.
I've got Atkins in draft.
SDK, let's have a look. 74. He's back to SDK from last season. We knew it was happening. As soon as Boyd was dropped and they're throwing Marshall in, we knew he was getting it was going to get cut out by the Scarves coming in and just supporting him. And you can guarantee Stanley's coming in now.
Yeah, and STK is going down back.
Yep. And again, that is also probably something to consider with Sullivan as well, is what happens to Sullivan's role, because STK is now going to be down back at that back pocket. So it's been a wild ride. Yeah. I mean, look, having him on the bench after a 48 or a 45 last week, it probably wasn't the wrong call. I mean, I don't think, again, injury happened very early in the game, which forced some rotations in roles. You can't, no matter what we can do, we can't even speculate that. And like Supercoach, we're meant to be really good speculators. What we do, you can't account for that. So you probably made the right call. Like I said, I probably made the right call holding Pez and getting Baz in, and it didn't work out. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
Will Hasty come back next week because of injuries? What injuries? Who got injured?
He's talking about Stocker.
Stocker. I'm not too familiar with Stocker's role.
Yeah, he plays in the back line. And so does Hasty. I thought they're slightly different in the way they play, but it's not really a like I didn't think. Maybe a Saints fan can confirm, but yeah, Hasty is probably where it's at. Hasty gives you more of an option of, take the game on and take the kicks on as well. Stocker, I thought, was more of a bit of a lockdown sort of player from memory. If I'm butchered that, my apologies, Saints fan, but yeah.
Man, if I swear, if Hasty comes back in next week and gives us a unsub game of 80+, I'm going to be pissed.
Oh, hopefully he starts him sub.
He better. Ross better be committed to this sub thing and screwing us over.
Literally.
Cheese. Your dad picking Mansell again, Brad?
I think he is. I think his team's loaded up with a lot of Richmond players. I've got to do I don't think he'll ever jump on a podcast with me, but I've got to do his weekly trades in one of my videos just to see what he's bought in.
Oh, get him on. Can you imagine that?
Literally.
Brad and Dad. Literally Brad and Dad. There's your series.
Yeah. I'm just going to charge my laptop because guess who didn't charge it right now?
I'm surprised you don't have it permanently plugged in, mate.
I was charging my my watch.
Oh, there we go. We got him. He's back. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So, CWT's got some trades for us. So he's going to give Short, Perryman, and Foss the kick to Holmes, Callahan, and O'Sullivan. The only one I love out of that's Callahan.
Yeah, I agree with that actually.
I think it's hard because if you wanted to get rid of a defensive rookie to O'Sullivan, we're going Short and Perryman So you're getting pretty much going 2 mids down to a keeper and a rookie. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. That's tough.
I don't like Holmes because I think he's now a tag target.
Well, yeah. I'm not sure. Did Windhager back off towards the end of the game?
I think a bit of both. I think that, and I think that St Kilda wanted to play their own game, but I also think Holmes sort of worked his way back into it just in confidence and sort of just going for broke because he just took on the game and almost didn't have any worry there. They were so far behind that he just thought, "Oh, let's take the game on my boot and carry the team." So I think it's going to be acceptable to tags because teams will look at that in the first half and go, "All right, we can shut him down." But now that's a big red flag if you're an owner of a Holmes. That would scare me off. Like he only scored a 91 too. So for me, no. I like Finn, though.
Yeah, I think Finn's solid. I think wait for the rookie choice just to see who pops their head up for next week. Like Allen could potentially come in. Yes, he had a -12, but the job security's there. Just, I don't know, reassess after the round's complete, I'd say. Cheese.
I've been laughing at this for too long.
I'll repeat myself, Cheese. Go buy a microphone, please. Actually, Cheese, I have an old USB microphone that's pretty decent. If that convinces you to hop on, it's yours. Otherwise, Brad, you can have it.
Or you know what we should do? Just get him on as a special guest.
That's true. Cheese, you gotta hit us up, mate.
Yeah, we can send you the email anytime, Cheese.
Do we surf goes to? I am getting through the comments, guys. I know it's taken a fair bit. I did not expect lots of you to be here in complete honesty. So you guys have been absolutely legends. Surf Coast, do we back in Horny Man for a few more weeks? I think you do.
Yeah, I think he's got a good fixture.
He's got a great fixture. Ben Affleck, look at that. Jason Fraud Francis.
I love these comments. These are my sort of things. I love this.
I say these are your people that have come over, mate. I can make that for sure.
I love that.
Yeah, Hasty coming back. Yeah, look, if Hasty comes back, I'm gonna be pretty pissed. Cheese reckons that defensive effort wasn't there, which is why it was dropped. Looked lost and defending. Picked it up though. Yeah, I think there wasn't too many like good moments that we saw from Hasty. There was a few like very small moments, but I think I tend to agree that probably the pressure and the pace of it was below what the AFL really needed.
Yeah.
SPP easily. Do we reckon Connor Stone holds his spot next week for GWS? I am actually so lost because I don't think he does.
Yeah, hard to see a world where he does, but Giants rookies have always been actually okay, really, over the journey. They've always been given a chance.
Yeah, even McMullen last year, he was up a fair bit, but when he came on, like he was still averaging 50s.
Points per minute, unreal.
Oh, yeah. Praise fit, my vice captain, Jack McRae, for real. I mean, honestly, I think everyone's going to put it as a potential option moving forward. That 162.
Yeah, I might even just straight see him.
I mean, what? Does he have any Thursday night games coming up? Just straight see.
Just take. I don't know if you can take complete V's off, but just straight see him and then V a Sunday player instead.
I mean, that's one way to go about it.
That's
JRD asks, cheese, why don't you like cheese? The age-old question.
Someone always asks.
Down below. As if you don't have that posted on your profile somewhere, cheese.
Like a photo of him eating cheese would be iconic.
It would be. Oh, question about Garcia. I was waiting when this would come up. Does Garcia have a chance of securing a spot and more midfield time? Hell no.
Nah, he's no good. He's got no role there. Like Ross has just stitched him up here. Poor Garcia.
Yeah. Put him down to a Lindsay or a Levi if you haven't got him in. Don't. Actually, while we're here, Max Hall, 33. Yep, not bringing him in next week. Glad I didn't bring him in this week. Yep.
He looked better than a 33 eye test. He was coming up towards the ground. I don't know who had his number all day, but whoever was doing a job on Max Hall, can you let me know in the comments? Because I just barely sighted him unless he moved up the field.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough one to have Garcia go sub, who went at 25. Well, that's right. I feel for those people that aren't like actively paying attention to subs and then trading.
Yeah.
If they're out or something like that, because that's an absolute stitch up.
It's a Saturday night too. You're probably at the pub having dinner
Yeah.
and drinks, and you're not looking at who's sub and thinking it's Garcia by any stretch.
Legit. SC, thoughts on SDK? Yeah, I don't think you go there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, because of what we're saying about.
Yeah,
Sorry.
if you need a downgrade, go Fraser. Looks like he's got more of a role, looks in better form. Yeah, some things might change around with Magnus on a board once the big boys come back into the team, but he's definitely put his name on a spot, at least. Just may not be as fruitful as what we're seeing at the moment. Yep, Cheese just answered the question. Oh, Magpies comment on Cox. Yaron, Cox coming in, maybe trade Decam to Captain Rosie. Decam started shit too. That's interesting.
He takes no offense to the Cox punch.
Probably thinks he deserved it.
It's somewhat.
We got Loki. No point trading Baz is so cheap. No real option. Yeah, I agree. And the only option that was really around was potentially a Jack Graham for the same price that seemed likely that was going to be available this week, but then copped an injury. Otherwise, Go on.
Ironic, because in our DMs, exactly what we were talking about too.
Yep. And then he went down. I'm actually very curious because I'm actually a bit annoyed. Do you think this potentially gives a bit more spot or time on ground for Hewitt?
Yes, 100%.
Because now I don't have Hewitt. I don't have the ability to get Hewitt on field unless it takes flex over Lindsay.
Oh, I should have fielded Hewitt over Hall. I did not think of that until we're talking about this as a little reminder.
Mate, who gave you the Hewitt to SPP flip last week? Not that it eventually worked out, but you come on.
Yeah, we've helped each other out a few times. Yeah,
I know. You got me off short, and you somehow didn't persuade me off Pez, so you failed on that. But anyway,
sorry. Yeah, my bad. I didn't think I could sell you.
Mate, you can sell me. You just got to talk to me for long enough. Just got to do it in the gym.
Yeah, right, 11 a.m.
Yeah, 11 a.m. God, what are we training tomorrow? Just quietly.
I want to do upper because I did the legs today, and
thank God. I say, don't tell me we're doing legs because I'm not coming.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Bill boys, if you had to trade Reed, trainer, who would you trade first in order? Worried about trainer's job security. Is job security an issue for trainer?
Not at all.
I wouldn't think so. I don't really. I think it's like drawing at straws here between those two.
The only way you're trading any of these guys out is if you wanted a bias situation, but that's after his buy. Then if you're going to look at that, because at least these guys will make money, and then you can grab bias and swap there if you really needed a rookie scorer on the field.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think literally flip a coin at this point. You've got a better chance making the right call flipping a coin. More concerned about Reed. I mean, yeah, he's probably, if we're thinking about overall injury concern, then yeah, maybe go Reed out because he's a bit fragile. That's probably the only thing I could say. I'm actually quite surprised Pryor outscored Reed. I mean, he did it last week. I didn't think he was going to do it back-to-back, so I've made that bad choice twice now. Reed's now sitting on my bench permanently. Pryor's is going to be my on-field rook. Everyone, let's just go through. Matthew says go Lions. Oh, can't wait to watch Dunkley pop off for another 170. While Neil goes sub 100. Whoa.
That's huge cool. I'll probably fall asleep watching that game.
Yeah, probably. We thought we were watching, Witches Hats today. 2
games of that.
Yeah, legit. Let's see. What do we reckon is a good score this week? Great question, actually.
1,900 to 2,000. You'll be laughing.
Yeah, I think 1,900 will probably put you above par.
With the carnage on the highly owned players, I'd say so.
Yeah. Yep, she's just realised that McRae scored a 162. I mean, look, to be fair, champion data was down for like half that game. We were all lost. We were all panicking.
Yeah.
We've got a trade. Ozjan thinking short to Whitfield, Stewart to Sin, and a rook. Callahan has 250 in the bank.
What did Sin score?
Let's have a look. We'll get back into this game.
Wasn't that juicy? Wasn't?
I didn't think it was that juicy. Could have been.
He's 229k, I think.
82. I mean,
yeah, but all their halfback flankers dominated. Their lowest scores are 52.
Yeah, that's the consideration with that is the whole defensive line got a massive bump in scores today. So I wouldn't be making that trade purely based off this game. If you really wanted to do that, go look at preseason, go look at practice matches, because you'll probably find you don't want him.
Yeah.
I dare say there's probably, if you're not attached to Whitfield, potentially look at going down to like a Dale and then getting like Sin up to like a Fraser, potentially, if you could.
I like that.
Difference.
I'm keen on that.
That's probably the only recommendation I can make based on those trades if you're not attached to Whitfield. But Whitfield's still obviously a great choice. I'm just not sold on the Sin pick. Good old Wilmar. Yep, Horny Man's pissing everyone off. Yep. I mean, we kind of knew this was going to happen at some point, right?
Watch him be like the fifth most traded out player next week.
He's probably will be.
He'll be up.
He was already getting traded out as Baz, which is gnarly.
Yeah.
Fielded Stewart, Trainer, Kako, and Hall. That's rough. That is rough.
Sucks.
I mean, I only took the bullet for Stewart, but again, the caveat to all this is your lowest 5 scores drop, so that could be most of your scores that drop out.
Yeah, because that flex position. Yep.
Yeah. Wilmar, thoughts on Ed Long?
I don't think he scored that well. I wouldn't go there, and his price rise has already happened.
That's right. So his price rise has happened on the back of this score. So he only got a 57, which if he scored 100, yeah, his price rise isn't going to be that great. You've already missed it, so I wouldn't even bother.
And he was sub as well.
He was sub as well. I don't think the injury benefits him. I think they're just going to bring in. I think they're going to move Perriman back in to CBAs. I think they'll find someone to replace McGuinness that's actually suited for that role. I mean, Perriman is suited for that role. Don't get me wrong, but they didn't bring him into the team to do that. But I think
hot take. I actually think Perriman will stay back. Ned Long will go into the midfield for the CBAs, and then they bring in someone else as the sub. So I think Long's job security is potentially there, depending on the Collingwood ins. But I think Perriman now goes back, so that's a huge red flag. If he's named on the team sheets down the back, I think he got 0% CBAs anyway this game. So I'd trade out Perriman based on he could be playing back pocket.
I think we've seen enough of Perriman to know that he's an absolute foul pick, and we just trade him out and say see you later.
Agreed.
So easy. Also, we just clocked at 70 viewers, so good job, boys and girls. If you're here at 12 a.m. of all times for a stream about Supercoach, the dedication is real. You guys are the real ones. So make sure you like the stream, give us a subscribe, give a rookie coach myself. Go check out Brad's channel at Supercoach Pro for all the hot takes and the gym series that Brad's going to do. It's promised. He doesn't know it yet, but it's happening.
I'll do it by September.
Love it. The only one that... Jeez. Yeah, his teammates were
literally. It's like Rosie. Rosie got burnt a lot because Port Adelaide just accepted to boot it long.
Yeah. Ozjan's got really good questions. Really, really good questions that I think could help a lot of people. Do we field Foss or Hewitt this week? He's got 4 subs, 4 times sub 50 scores already.
I think that's easy for me. Foss.
I'm actually going to go Hewitt. I
All
think
right.
Jack Graham being out opens up massive potential to Hewitt to pop off.
All right, what's our little bet? Do we got like a sneaky side bet that we can do? It can be gym related, whatever. I don't really care.
Yeah, we'll do it offline because we'll make it interesting.
All right, done. We'll think of a bet. I'm saying Foss.
And then we'll reveal what the bet was next week on a stream at some point.
Done.
Do you have Elijah Hewitt on your bench rookie? I do. I couldn't. So I have probably too many of the must rookies because I wanted to hold Foss and Sardis. So I've got Foss on bench, Hewitt on bench for DPP swings. You know what? I'll actually just show you my team. Hopefully you guys can see that. So I got Foss, Hewitt, I got Kakado in here. I needed Pepper on field, and I wanted Ashcroft and Sardis with Lindsay and Flex. So I didn't have enough room, essentially. So if Elijah goes off, I'm not really mad because it's good cash gen, but it is what it is. I have faith in Lindsay to hopefully back up what he did last week. And if he didn't and he's a failed pick, then so be it. Eagles for the surprise win tomorrow, lads. Light work. CWT, we're about to make more bets offline if you're making that sort of call.
Literally, that is that's some trash talk. I like it though. Someone's got to be different in the chat. It's going to be him.
Jeez, just sharing the ciggies. Love that. Perryman, Short, and Day going to be the most traded out this rate. I agree.
Yeah.
I think we've caught up the comments, so we can start getting into the final game in a minute. Perryman is the biggest disappointment. I mean, there's probably been a few disappointments this week. I mean, my personal disappointment is Stewart because he tripped over himself and potentially done a PCL. Who's your biggest disappointment so
far? Probably Luke Trainer. I was expecting like a 50 or 60 because I knew we would find a lot of ball back there, but I wasn't expecting a 24. So, yeah.
I don't think anyone was expecting a 24. So, that is what it is. Cheese, I got no idea what that's in reference to. But I
think it's talking about the viewership of how many people.
Oh, yeah. It's been jumping between like 68 and 71. So
I wish I could see it because I have no idea. I can't see any of that.
Secret number. I could be lying to you all. Not really. It's on the YouTube video. So
damn.
Cheese is keeping track. Do you want to be my manager, Cheese? You can manage me and Brad. It'd be great.
Literally. Yeah.
Cam McKenzie breakout this year or next year. Mark my word. Fair shout. I dare say Warple being out has opened opportunity for him to kind of make a name for himself. Definitely.
Yeah. Always putting your neck out on the line, aren't you, Wilma? It's a dad joke. It's so bad. I'm sorry.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Like, you can confirm that he's one of the 1% Dell owners that were shocked that early 1% had him to start. Yeah. Yep. I mean, it made sense, but a lot of coaches have strict rules when it comes to picking players at the start, or at all throughout the season. Is you just don't pick injury-prone players. They just want to pick players that are going to see the season through, which is a fair point. But it also means that you take a bit of a risk on an injury-prone player that they don't get injured and they're a pod for you and they do what Dale's done and absolutely, rocket. Like CWT. I think he was in the hundreds for ranking. I dare make you. I guarantee he's probably going to crack the hundreds. He's going to get sub 100 ranking this week.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised if he didn't.
Your starting side's so important. That's why I'm going to be aggressive this season at the start.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's like something I didn't do last season. Like I was very much like all last season. It was start safe. I then ended up buying players that I wanted at max price and using trades when I shouldn't have. Like I traded Sheasel out to trade him back in last season. My name is Rookie Coach for a reason, guys. Let's just make that very clear. So manage your expectations of me, please. Like he says, I think
underselling.
Dale scored 110 in the second half. Yeah. Oh, and this is the thing. Like Dale had a bit of a slow start, but it's Dale. Not much more you can say.
Yep.
Easy. Guys, we're at 77. Let's get this to 80. Let's just keep it going. You guys have been absolute legends with the questions and just getting involved in the comments. JRD, does Fraser losing CBAs affect Dale's score? Fraser losing CBAs affect Dale's score.
So he's saying when Fraser gets back on. I don't think so.
Maybe there definitely is a threat. I will acknowledge that there's a threat there for sure. However, again, I think Brad raised it at some point. I think it might have been in one of the group chats or earlier in the stream that they're looking to get it through him, even off the kick in, and then giving it back for that boot down the corridor or to the wing. Like they're looking for him to distribute the ball. So maybe it might affect his ceiling, maybe not his consistent scoring.
That's the issue with these guys that are primos. There's some that look for the team members like a Dale, and then there's some that don't. Like Richmond don't look to short anymore, but Dale they do. So there's a clear avenue that let's get it into our good ball users. Let's bring it into Fraser. That's why he's got 8 CBAs on the weekend because they know he's a good kick. They did that with all their halfback flankers. You know, they did that with Ed Richards. Now that's why he's in the midfield. I'm not saying Dale's going to move into the midfield, but they love using the good ball users like that. So I'm actually scared that Bont might play a lot forward this year, coming off that calf.
That's a good shout, actually.
Huge chance, I reckon, by like round 12, if he's back round 6, that he's forward DPP.
Can you imagine if we get like Warner, Bond, Merritt?
That's why I'm saving a spot or two.
Well, that's also half the reason why I didn't like the idea of Baz filling up a spot.
I'm going to use Baz's cash generation to get one of those guys. That's my plan.
I mean, that's if he plays enough to make it cash, mate. We'll see how we go. Don't get to get any more questions or comments in, guys. We will probably wrap up in the next 10-20. We'll get through the final game, just talk about more chaos, and then potentially even just look into tomorrow's games to see what we're looking out for.
Yep.
So, Saints, a 162 from McRae. Can we say that the McRae is back? Like the McRae, not Jack McRae, the McRae. Is he back?
100%, because Bevo didn't know where to put him, and it was obvious to Ross. He can't get anything else right, but yeah, McRae is back to those glorious days of maybe even a 120 average this year. I wouldn't be surprised.
It seems to be looking that way, doesn't it? Even like again, you could think you got like 125 or 27 last week when they got flogged, and when they win, 162.
Like, if you didn't start him, what were you drinking?
Exactly. Sinclair definitely putting his hand up for an option. Got the nice buy, a 145. He's probably on a watch list. He's around the same price as a Whitfield. Probably a pod. I'm not sure on his ownership. So there we go. But definitely keep an eye on him. If he backs this up with a 110, 115, I definitely think it's on to try and get him in.
Yeah, literally. I just saw Cheese saying I didn't start McRae. I think he's pulling our leg now.
Okay, Cheese, you're not my manager anymore. You fired.
He's definitely
be pulling out. Whether he's pulling out legs or not, you don't say that sort of stuff. Didn't start McRae. Are you playing what? NRL Supercoach? What are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
Royal Marshall 121. First game back being full-time ruck?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
This is probably, if this is anything to go by, I mean, to be fair, he had Geelong, easy ruck matchup.
Yeah, 100%. He was bodying SDK like he was just a pencil.
Legit. But, hey, I mean, look, I'd be very curious to watch Marshall up against Gawn, Cherry, and see where he's at, because there is a chance that he can be up there if he stays fit.
100%.
Naz.
I think
Go on.
I was going to say, I think we missed Lockie's comment up above.
The Rankin one?
Yeah, I think that's what we're up to, actually.
Yeah, we're up to. Yeah, so Rankin sub pissed me off so much. Should have been another one too. Mate, that could have been a 140 from Rankin.
I was actually going to go extreme and say 150.
Yeah, it's annoying. He got scaled to a 97 though. Like, it's not from a sub perspective. You take that any day.
Yeah, a 3/4 time he was 88, and then he got points for breathing on the bench because I think they thought his name was Bontempelli. So it was a beautiful day.
Yeah, but I definitely think he was inwards for an upwards of 120. Easily. CWT Saturday night press conference dropping soon. Apparently, he's had a nightmare of a week. Oh, I love Scott Flood's press conference videos. Will be the first thing I do once we hop off is go make myself a hot choco and just go lay in bed and watch it, I reckon.
I think my missus got the ideal setup. She just got Coles Uber Eats just to buy a 12-pack of muffins. Just like,
I love
what
that.
the hell?
I love that. I've done that probably with just like snacks, just horrendous snacks.
Literally.
Uber Eats. It's a disgusting invention that's made me much lazier. But
I had to delete the app because it put on 10 kilos from that app.
Oh, mate, that's probably me. I definitely didn't get Macca's Uber delivered tonight at all. I was emotionally eating my feelings because Stuart got subbed. Okay, don't attack me.
That would all.
We'll get into the rest of St Kilda and get to your questions in a minute, guys. Naz, around the mark of like a Dale and a Stewart. Now that Stewart's out, is he a safe option? We know the ceiling's not really there like a Dale. Could you still pick him given how Dale's been playing?
He's got a good like floor, I suppose, because he takes kickouts, but I just don't think he's as attractive as a Dale, Whitfield, or even a Clark, etc. Those ones that can sort of give you 130, 140 any given week. So for me, he's just a bit vanilla pick. Like vanilla ice cream's nice, sure, but there's just nothing spicy about it. Not that you want spicy ice cream, by the way.
Why not? Jonas, I've done this stream waiting for you to show your face because you've been hassling me to do a live stream and you come in now.
That's his wake up time. This is normally his alarm to wake up because he's strange.
Poor form, Jonas. I expected more. But glad you're here, nonetheless. You got to see that it actually happened. So welcome in, Jonas. Good to have you. Steel 106. I don't even think he's really relevant, to be honest.
He's Saints supporters will hate me, but I think he's a bit of a has-been for Supercoach.
There we go. I think the prime time's passed for Steel. Winhager did a number pretty early on Holmes. O'Connell 42. And then we get into Hall and Garcia. We're not going to talk about them too much. We're not going to rub them in the dirt. You guys got to win. Please just take that.
Yeah.
We'll quickly get some questions before we get into Geelong. VC McRae to a captain Andy Brayshaw. I think I'm too scared to go VC TDK into McRae still. I mean, a lot of people are probably going to flirt with the idea of VC McRae.
I think you VC McRae, just in case.
Just in case. I mean, if you're pretty confident you got an easy matchup for like a captaincy score, I think you just take it. That's the whole point of a VC, isn't it? You take a bit of a risk and see if it plays out.
Saints play Tigers next Saturday, don't they? I might go to the game. So if anyone's interested, hit me up on Twitter. I might go to the game. I'll see how I feel because I got a Nelly and Tech 9 concert that weekend to go to. So
you're just looking up to make all sort of plans when you're in the city, aren't you?
I don't mind a bit of plans with the people in the chat. Like I haven't got to meet a lot of them, so it would be nice to say hello. And if they do see me at Nelly or Tech 9, feel free to say hello to me.
There you go. Supercoach Pro meetup officially locked in for next weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Get your jerseys ready for some signatures.
Oh no, I would not.
Cheese, the longest job I've ever had. That's very concerning.
My longest job is 3 years.
Mine's probably 2.
Wow, it's our generation. Isn't it?
Well, I left that job because I started my own business. I did that for 2.5 years. So
True.
Didn't want to work for the man. Last 10 minutes to a preview of the few games. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that, Cheese.
Who gets a Jordan tag you said above as well?
Yep. All right. Jordan tag.
I think Clark.
Really? You don't think he goes to...
He's naturally a half forward, Jordan, and he's tagged. He's tagged him twice. So I think that's a perfect role for him to tag halfback flanker. It depends who goes off the chain though. If you see Sarong or Brayshaw go off the chain, you can guarantee Jordan's going there.
Yeah, I definitely think it might be a rotating tag. I definitely think it might start with Clark, but then if Sarong or Brayshaw go off the chain, I guarantee they're probably going to flip to him.
Yeah, literally.
So, one to watch though. I haven't got any of those players in, thankfully. So, guess it's a free watch. I don't even think I really have. Oh, I don't even think I've got any. I've got O'Driscoll.
Yeah.
We'll see how we go. We'll talk about that game in a minute. Let's go. Should I take Rosie VC score or wait for Neil or Zorko to go bigger?
Take Rosie because we know that players can get injured. If Zorko got injured in the first quarter, you'd be kicking yourself, mate. Take Rosie all the way.
Yeah, I think in this round where we've seen so much chaos happen, you just take it. You never know what's going to happen. It's a safe 130. Just lock it in.
Literally.
Jonas, just woke up. No Hippo. Has he lost it with the Stewart pick? I wouldn't blame him.
I DM'd him. He followed me back on Twitter today, and I asked him to jump on a stream. I don't think he's checked his Twitter since, so I might ask him tomorrow night if he wants to jump on. I want to have a Hippo Rage segment where we can rage about Carlton and Tigers and then read the comments and go through it. So might be a lot of testosterone in that one video. So if I get a bit crazy and start flipping tables, and he does as well, I'll apologise. Yeah,
I'll see if I can get him watching that.
If not, it'll just be a solo rant, I guess. I don't know, depending who's free.
Start to do some push-ups in between rants. You'll be right.
I wish you did push-ups in between having dinner tonight. I'm that fog. I was making bacon and eggs, and I started doing push-ups like Jake King. I don't know why.
I mean, good on you, mate. That's lovely. Just making room for the extra calories. I love it.
Trying to get to Josh Hunt size.
I'm going to print out a picture of Josh Hunt one day, and it's going to sit in the back on one of these walls. I'll get a life-size cutout and just sit at the back. Funny shit. DWT, please tag Clark. Let my boy Wagner be free. Possibility.
Yeah.
Possibility.
What a pod.
Yeah. Definitely a big pod. I mean, CWT was big on his pods, and it seems to be paying out for him at the moment. So he's done very, very well. Jonas Malira scored an 86. Anyone desperate enough to bring him in? Nope.
No way. He's made out of papier-mâché.
I think even that's being a bit too nice to him. He'll break at any point.
As soon as the game gets windy, he's injured.
I think Cheese is onto something. I think Jonas might have him. Seeing a D3. Oh. Yeah, right. Got a feel for you there, mate. Who do you think the better C option is out of Gaunt, Sheasel, and Sarong? I think Rowbottom will be Sarong's matchup. Yeah, we also got to consider who Rowbottom will go to as well. They got Jordan or Rowbottom that will probably do some work.
Sheasel for me.
Yeah, I'd probably go Sheasel. I think Sheasel is. We didn't see it last week, but I think we're all itching to see a good 120-ish, hopefully at least from Sheasel.
Tom Green and Callahan turned up on Melbourne. Midfielders from Melbourne aren't that great when it comes to Supercoach scoring against. So Sheasel, as long as he doesn't play odd forward, he should be fine.
Yeah, that's it. I've got my C on Dunks against West Coast.
I hope West Coast tag with, I don't know, just somebody tag Dunks for me, and then Neil as well. I don't know.
Just someone do something, please.
Someone do something. If they both double ton, Like I said, the first player to double ton, I will literally dye my hair that colour or shave my head if that player's got a bald head.
Yeah.
The missus is looking at me like, why are you betting this on a stream with this many people on? But that's fine.
Your missus is probably like, why are your bets always including your hair?
Because I don't know what else to do. I don't really grow out a beard too long because I just, not for me.
I guess I could have done something with the beard before I got rid of it, but oh well, missed opportunity. He'll be back in a month.
Yeah, I could grow a mo, but I just look, I don't know, look like I might jump a wall.
Lizard King, Holmes tag, Stewart took 9, Baz out, Flynn out, JFA collecting freeze against, fade me. Yeah, Lizard, it's been a rough round so far, and we're not even done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jonas, what was everyone's trades this week? Brad, what were your trades?
I got rid of Flynn, Hasty. Who was my other guy I got rid of? Flynn, Hasty, and Pez for Bice, Rankin, and you know my other trade was? I told you in the DMs and I've totally gone blank. Sydney Bice, Rankin up forward. Oh, and Xavier
Pez.
Lindsay. No,
Lindsay.
Yeah,
you got it, Lindsay. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but I traded 2 players that were dropped, like you. Same sort of deal. Yeah.
Yeah, and these are my trades, Jonas. Just a rookie correction. Just got some dead rooks out. Got some cash. Got to make some moves next week to get rid of Pez.
Levi's going to go huge too, isn't he?
He better. Yeah, because I could have just done the one trade, but we'll see how we go. If Dunkley doesn't score 200, I'm cooked. I mean, Dunkley was my savior last week. Look, I don't know what I would do to that man if he saves me again this week, but I couldn't say it out loud.
If Dunk scores 200 this week, that would be like 373 points in that average is nuts. You'd almost want to jump on just for a cash cow purpose.
Pretty much. Like you could literally hold dunks, go down to day cost, and make cash.
You could make 200k off that too.
That's crazy. Jonas' trades this week: Perryman out, Sardis out, Sullivan out, Bison, Lindsay, and Rosie.
Love that, Jonas.
Solid trades. Got Michael, take a Dawson, 124 VC, or risk it all on Neil going bananas. 124 is a really tricky spot, I think.
It's like dancing with your sister. I'd go Neil. Anyway, I'd go Neil.
Late night streams, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome.
My
wheels have to be a consistent thing. Just a late night stream on sad days.
We can do that. I'm keen.
Man. Mr. might get mad at me, actually.
Mine's been watching footy all day with me going, who the hell is that?
Yeah, I might get 2 games I can watch where she's paying attention. Otherwise, she's okay, I'm sick now. I'd put it on something else. We'll see.
I just got to make mine food instead.
Yeah, hey, food's always the gateway, hey? Ashcroft, double ton. Levi Ashcroft, ton. My week is saved. Look, I think Levi's all chances to get a ton. Ashcroft, his big brother. I don't know.
I think they could both ton up.
I think all the mids, I think everyone's gonna like McLuggage is probably gonna ton up. Let's be honest.
Yeah, 100%.
And Yaron just speaks about the man himself. McLuggage double ton, non-relevant player will ton up. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's so draft relevant, isn't it?
Yeah.
I got Dunks, Cripps, Dawson all in my draft, by the way, and Cherry.
I like it.
No one's going to beat me in draft this year, Cheese. I'm actually going to finish first, and you guys are going to hate me.
That's it. So we kind of all probably know the scores of Geelong and St Kilda. We're not going to spend too much time dilly-dallying over it. So we're just going to jump in. We could. I don't want to talk about it. Don't bring it back to me. I don't want to talk about Geelong. How dare you? How dare you spot my little sideways to get away from it? So rude. Pretty annoyed I traded an STK, but at least faded Perryman and got all the good rookies. I mean, hey, that's a win. Because STK outscored Perryman and you got good rookies. That's an absolute win in a round of chaos. You take that. Then he plays at Richmond in another 2 weeks. Might be the first 800k player. That ugly could be.
Wow. Don't make me get FOMO. Fear of missing
I'm
out.
going to give you FOMO. FOMO is going to happen. Guaranteed. Jeez, you should know that Brad says some heinous things on stream.
We got
You
after
should not be
midnight.
surprised.
It's like Big Brother up late for me right now.
After midnight, and we currently have 76 viewers. Can we just acknowledge how crazy that is?
That's crazy. That's better than my OnlyFans. I don't got one.
Damn.
I definitely got that one.
Brad's hustling. Cheese is definitely a manager of that account. I can guarantee you that. Oh, jeez. You got too many jobs, man. Are you guys not scared at all about job security for bias? 2 to 3 weeks, Cunningham and Mills, and yeah.
I'm not worried about it. I watched him play, and like I talk about eye test a lot lately, but he's incredible. Like I love the pick, and I think he won't fail. And if he does, you can come back and you can dislike every video that I put out ever since for the whole year.
I'm not brave enough to make a big call like that. I think he'll do enough in the time that they're away to solidify a spot, even as just as a bench warmer, to come in and give those boys a rest for sure. But I definitely think once Cunningham and Mills come back, maybe more Cunningham, maybe not Mills, because Mills will move to the midfield most likely. I think Cunningham will definitely tap into those points, but you're going to get a price rise out of him at least, and a decent one.
I think Cunningham's just not good to play at all. So I actually think Bice will be fine.
Yeah. Matthew, Brad looks like the type of guy to order a 3-piece feed at KFC. I'm
actually not. You know what's funny? I know this is a piss take anyway. I'm a Zinger man. I'll buy 2 Zinger burgers on their own and not grab chips or Coke because I'm not really a fan of either or.
You're not a fan of the chips at KFC?
I'm not a chip man at all. I'm probably going to get unsubbed for that, but I just like 2 burgers and I'm out.
I just remembered I got something on at 11 a.m. tomorrow, mate, unfortunately.
Give me an ice cream.
You know what? I'm going to walk into the gym with KFC chips just for you.
Oh,
Free
no.
carbs. Free carbs. Anyway, before we get into more comments, let's just rush through this absolute shocking game by Geelong. Atkins somehow top scorer of 96, not relevant. Henry just fed off Tom Stewart being out. So did Mark. So did O'Sullivan. So did Guthrie. The sub just came out and pulled out an 84.
That's nuts. Like Laywell again. Like how do you do that?
I'm actually curious to look at Humphreys now if Stewart's out.
Did he take kick-ins?
Let's have a look. Let's go. Good old DFS. Let's just have a quick look.
I probably can't go through my browser and stream my browser at the same time. I've got to have it preloaded.
What are you scared of, mate? What are you hiding? Humphreys took 2 kick-ins. Hasn't even registered tonight's game, sorry. But he took 2. He does get some kick-ins. So let's just say, for an example, let's just say that Humphreys gets Stewart's. That's now 4, almost half the kick-ins. Who else are they going to give it to? They're not going to give it to O'Sullivan.
What happens if they give it to SDK when he goes down back and Sandler comes back in?
I dare say they're probably more likely to give it to Henry than they are to SDK.
Okay, so maybe they kick to an SDK?
I dare say they probably would want to kick to an SDK. He's probably going to be more of a confident mark and deliver it to that to get it into the corridor or to the wing quicker. Because if they're bombing it out to a contest, they probably want SDK there. So I dare say Henry might dip in, but I don't think we've really seen Henry take kick-ins. I could be very, very wrong there. But one to watch. Anyway, moving on from the shambles. Sam de Koning, 74. Once DFS updates, definitely go check his ruck stats. He got chopped out so much. Do you still go there for price rise? I don't think so. I don't think it's worth it.
Do you think the split becomes more 50-50 the next few games if they don't bring in Stanley with Blitz?
No, I think it's still I think it's another replica of tonight because Marshall's probably the closest they're going to get to a Gawn and McInerney. But I think that's who they're coming up against, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there you go. And you got TDK. Sorry, then you got, yeah, they're 100% going to split it. But I imagine that Stanley comes in. Stanley's been pretty good in VFL. So, yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer. Chris Scott has always talked about having flexible rucks. Writing's on the wall. Never to 58.
He looked better than a 58 in my eyes.
I thought he did too. I know I distanced myself from the game after Stewart got subbed off, but whenever I checked in, he seemed pretty good. I mean, like, look at the DT to Supercoach difference, though. So I dare say, no free kicks. It was most likely a disposal efficiency.
Do you think he takes a while to get into the game? Always the first quarter of the last couple of games, he looks like he's slowly trying to get the position right.
I think he definitely warms into the game. I don't think he's out the gate. I think he takes a bit to get the lay of the land in regards to like the pressure and all that sort of stuff. Myers at 53, not really relevant. And then my boy, my doppelganger, Stewart.
It's the most Stewart thing ever, too.
It really is.
It
really
is. I love him as a pick. The value was there, but just like you just know the headband king's going to do something like this.
I think the headband king's Bazza, but sure.
Are you sure it's not Oscar Baker?
It could be Oscar Baker. Could be. All right, let's get to your questions, guys. You guys have been going really good with the comments. Yeah, he rigged it. 100% he rigged it, Cheese.
Talking about the draft, I pressed randomize and then it didn't fall the way.
I've heard about how you rigged your draft, mate. Don't you worry. Literally, I think it was Jonas that came in on the first review crew stream ever and just said you rigged it.
It's because we're from Geelong. It's just like we tamper stuff down here, don't we? Cotton on.
It is. Yep. Still waiting for the heart rate to drop from the Cats game. Yeah, look, I kind of accepted my fate there, Lizard. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. At least that's what I'm telling myself.
Blakey.
Yeah, Jonas again, just having a crack at you, Brad, for rigging the draft. Cheese doesn't like you don't like chips.
Yeah, they're not in my top 5. I've been eating clean anyway lately.
Yeah, that's good. Ted at 119 could be the best cash cow of the year, like his brother last year. Hey, not bad shout. If he actually keeps a role, for sure. And he might after the performance he had. Because
he played a lot forward. What was his role? Who was he really replacing in there?
So that's the thing. Because I checked out, I couldn't tell you.
Damn.
Yeah. So anyone else who watched it, Lizard King? It sounds like you watched the game, unfortunately. Give us a shout on where he fit into the roles. So Sullivan 148, worth bringing in, looking for a new D4. We've spoken about this a fair bit. I think with Colin Jasny coming back and then potentially having SDK thrown back as well, one to watch. Not that you can really take much off team sheets, but I'd still have my I still would hesitate on getting O'Sullivan in because you're ideally just kind of point chasing because he did a 48 last week and wasn't too involved with Stewart in. And I do believe with Stewart out, they're going to need someone to do the intercepting, and that's got SDK written all over it.
Yeah, and these rookies are like your misses with food. You never know what they want. Like, they could go for a 40 or an 80. They're just so, I don't want to say bipolar, but you know what I mean? You can't trust them any given week.
I hope your miss is giving you a death stare right now.
She's sleeping with the muffins beside her.
That's commitment to the muffins. I love it.
Yeah.
Matthew, I felt like Nevitt was a 70 until I checked the score. Yeah. That's what I mean. Some of the things are very hard to they pass an eye test and they look better. Sometimes it doesn't translate to Supercoach points, which is crazy.
And because we're biased too.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's very true. Jonas, how pathetic is my backline? Sheasel, Roberts, Malera, Shaw, Bias, Reed, Trainer, Leak.
Stick to draft.
Ooh, Jonas. You've just made me feel so much better about my team. Thank you. I needed that. Boys, watch out for Ty Gallup for Brisbane. He's a star. Is he?
I'll have a look.
We'll have a watch.
Yeah. I hope he's right.
Yeah. So I think the question we had, Liz, was more on Colossi's role when he got subbed in. Where did he fill? Where did Mr. Ted go into for role wise? But yeah, good. Another opinion on Dull Spot. Yeah, very much. Again, the writing's pretty much there. It is still dependent on Colin Jasny. That's the direct tie. So whenever Colo comes back, which he could come back early, now Stewart's out because he is pretty fit and ready to go. Yeah, there could be some concerns there.
Yeah.
Dreezy E projected 1917.
That's
good
pretty
projection.
good.
A good projection. Yep. I like it. Hopefully, again, I just need Dunks to go nuts.
Yep.
Who do we need for me to go nuts? Cheezel, please. Well, Ed Richards is probably one of the pods that I need to do better. Zorko hopefully does well. Dunkley is probably so Zorko's in 30%. So if he goes off again, I'm happy. If Dunkley goes for a projected 135, I think that's generous. If he gives me a 120, I'm very happy. But from a captaincy point of view, I definitely want that 135.
Yep.
I think, is Gorn a pod? What's Gorn's ownership at the moment?
I don't know. I feel like it's 15 to 20%, maybe. I'm going to land on 17%. I haven't actually checked.
Let's have a look. 21%.
Okay, I'm 4% off that. Right.
That's not a bad shout. Not a bad guess. Not a bad guess at all. We got. I don't like the skepticism on Ty Gallup. He bagged poor preseason. Mate, we saw. Have you not seen the theme of preseason? Perryman was a solid pick.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, look. If you own your Brisbane bias, big Joe replacement. Hey, look. If Gallup pops up, then 100% he's a pick. By all means. By all means. Whether it actually happens or not.
100%. Sorry, my dog's barking, so I had to get the missus out of bed to get the dog in.
That's all right.
So if you saw weird eyebrow contact, yeah.
Yeah. Maximus Gorn is my captain today. Yep. I like it. Pretty safe captain.
What do you reckon he's against Terry?
Well, I actually do pretty well against each other, if I'm not mistaken.
It's going to shut that door.
There we go. So out of 130, 114 in previous matches. I think Gorn's safe for a 115. But again, we saw him not do that much stuff against Keith out of all people. So
and Keith kicked the seal on him too after dominating him all day.
We did. Baz getting much needed rest this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely is.
The snowman will be back next week, hopefully.
That's it. Good night, Cheese. Thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you in the chats. Make sure you talk to Brad about his OnlyFans channel tomorrow to make some corrections. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to get so much shit for that. I don't actually have one, just to clarify.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. Doesn't have one.
Oh, wow.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up by doing a quick preview. It has been almost a 2.5 hour stream, which is crazy. So we're going to fly through this of just any major watches for the game, for the next games to come, and then we're going to wrap up the stream. I hinted at for Brisbane Lions, main watch is going to be Dunks and Zorko and Levi Ashcroft. For the West Coast Eagles, I really would like to see Hewitt just go nuts. He's the only player I've really got going
Keep
for
an eye
the Eagles.
On Liam Baker.
I like it.
I want to see
anyone else.
Takes.
Anyone else you're watching from this game?
Nah, not that I can think of. I don't know how cheap Sam Day is, but if he was under 300, I might have a look in case he takes the Danaher role. Apart from that, not really. Just Levi Ashcroft, if he goes over 70, I'll bring him in next week for somebody, but I just don't know who's going to make way.
Love it.
Probably Dolan.
It's not a problem, mate. It's a definite. Come on now.
I'll have to boost for it, though. I've got no cash.
Well, that's what they're there for. North and Melbourne. Give us your rundown on who you're watching in this game.
Well, obviously, definitely Gawn. It's interesting that obviously Johnson's suspension makes him a tricky rookie, so you're not going to bother. Langford dropped. I wasn't expecting that. Probably just looking at the obvious ones I've got on my side, but I want to see Foss's role. So if he's halfback or if he's wing, just to know where I stand in fielding him. Just want to see how good Cherry is. Like if he goes over 130, then you don't really worry about Cherry's fixture if you need to fix your ruck line for Flynn. If you've held a week. The other thing I want to know on Melbourne, not too much. I want to know who's taking the kick outs without Stephen May this week. I know it's normally distributed between 2 or 3, but like a Salem type, would he be a shout for a Pez potentially? Although the injury history is there. Lindsay, we're going to keep an eye on. Like we've gone early on him, you and I, but maybe just rookies and maybe a few sneaky pods. But apart from that, mate, who do you got in this game? Do you want to?
Yes, I'll definitely be watching Foss as well, just to get that role confirmation. It was Sardis or Foss on the chopping block pretty much from this round. So I feel like unless Foss goes up for a 90 and has that halfback role and looks juicy, he's probably the one going out next week. Make a way for an upgrade.
Yep.
Very interested to see if Daniel can actually give us a ton, like we're expecting.
He looked like he was a ton. That's what I was so surprised at when I checked my game.
So I'd like to see him do that just to help lock us in because we've had now Old Francis give us a sub 60 score and we don't need any more carnage, please. That's generally it for me from North Melbourne. I've got my set and forgets as TDK and Gawn for the moment, but Cherry could be one that I look at from a TDK once Pitnet comes back.
Yeah. How about that North Melbourne rookie, though? He scored 74.
Constantini, I was just about to say his name. Yeah, he's definitely a watch for me as well. I'm watching Constantini and, I did like Aiden Johnson, but he's suspended this week. So they could also be potential downgrade options or sideway options for rooks. So one to watch. Aiden looked good last week. Constantini looked great as well. So 2 very viable options, just whether they hold their spots, more importantly. I'm also keeping an eye on Salem because I think he does get predominantly those kick-ins with May out, but I also want to get a confirmed length of time that May's out for. So I'll be watching the reports on Tuesday for that. Obviously want to see Lindsay do well, want Gawn to do well. Always watching track to see what's happening with that forward and mid-split, just to see what's happening there.
Henderson, are you looking at Henderson or do you think he'll be sub?
I have a feeling that it's either going to be Henderson or Woden as subs.
Agreed. Yeah.
So I have a feeling it might be Henderson, more likely. But if he's not sub, I think he definitely becomes an option to look at next week. Because
do you think he become? Sorry.
No, go.
I was gonna say, do you think he actually just becomes subbed off? Like one of them will just be sub on, one of them will be sub off.
That'd be the only other concern is Henderson might be the sub that comes off. Because the consideration was Spargo was pretty much a replacement, which it pretty much was. We saw Henderson on field and then they updated team sheets and Spargo came in. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens now because if he does, he got a 55, I think, last week for a 99K rookie. That's money-making numbers. So that's all you really want from that sort of price perspective. If he does it again, potential, if he's named, you can bring him in, make it a bit of cash and then move on to then maybe Aiden Johnson or someone on the bubble. All right. We're here at the time. Let's quickly get to Jonas. He definitely did miss us making fun of Mr. Headband from the Tigs.
Yeah, he looks like he sells ice cream cones down at the waterfront.
Sanday too expensive, in my opinion. I'm not sure on his price.
Nah, I haven't looked into it either.
Let's have a look. 300. Pretty expensive.
As a forward, though?
Just a forward, yeah.
If we're tipping Brisbane to be like a top 4 side, clearly, there could be potential. Like Danaher a few years ago was so cheap and he made it up to like 500k. So, just saying.
Very true. And Jonas makes a very good point that Pickett is yet to come back as well. So Henderson's job security is probably a bit shaky.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Last game. I think really the main watches for me is O'Driscoll from Freo because he's the only player that I have. Not really looking at anyone else. You know, Luke Ryan played poorly last week. He could be a one to look at when his price goes down. From Sydney, I mean, it's hard. I'm not really looking at anyone. Maybe Bice, see how he plays, see if he's a viable downgrade option after his bye. Outside of that, you know, if you didn't bring in Corey Warner this week, you've missed the price rise, so I wouldn't even worry about looking at him. Sheldrick, maybe if he gets a go, and he gets that first game out of his system, potentially.
Mm.
But that's all I'm really looking at.
Yeah. For me, probably Erasmus. Isn't he the 119k Freo rookie?
Yes.
Yeah. Looking at him, he'll probably be sub, knowing our luck. And then for Sydney, Bice is named at halfback flank, so I actually expect him to take a share of kickouts with Blakey.
Mm-hmm.
I reckon he'll take at least 3 or 4. I reckon he'll score me 70 tomorrow. He's on field. I don't think he's a sub risk on or off. I could be completely wrong. Come back to this stream and I get a lot of flack if he does become subbed out or something. But I'm happy to go early, even though he's got to buy the week after. I just think he's a good on-field rookie, so he's going to potentially get rid of my trainer or Reed priority because I think he's a good scoring. And any rookie that takes kickouts is definitely one you can field. So for me, on his watch, I'm also going to watch how much forward time Warner plays, just so I can see if I need to leave a spot open for round 6 when DPP comes in. There was a couple players I wanted to look at, but we've already spoken about the cash gen. They're going up this week, so it's now or never for any of those cash rookies. So apart from that, mate, that's about it. Just want to see who Jordan tags.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it's a flexible tag or if they just stick to Clark or to Wrong for the whole game and who goes to who, because you know you could have who was it? Where's this man I was talking about? You could have Rowbottom go to most likely a Sarong or a Brayshaw, depending who goes off chain, and then you got Jordan, who's probably going to find Clark most likely.
I think Rowbottom goes to Sarong. I think Brayshaw could get off the chain here.
It's good. Why is that number 2? Why you get him in? Why Dunk Sweet Nuts?
Yeah, 100%. That was a good shout. I remember listening to one of your videos saying about taking the second banana just because they won't get tagged and they still get the high CBAs. And I thought, I've never really thought about that. That's probably one of the best things I've heard from you or just anyone in general, actually. One of the best shouts I've ever heard.
I mean, it's probably early to make the call that I did because tags only really became a thing last season where it had high influence on a Supercoach perspective or impact. And then again, I think opening round was just that lock-in call where we saw him do it straight away. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. It's second banana time.
Yeah.
So, and it ended up working out. So there you go.
And as it stands anyway, not that team sheets are 100% accurate, Brayshaw's on row bottom and then Jordan's on the bench. So you get no idea what's happening with Jordan with that one. If he's sub though, wow, that would be amazing for us super coaches.
I mean, you'd imagine like Sheldrick is sub from the interchange, wouldn't you?
Yeah, or Corey Warner.
I can't imagine putting Corey as sub. Played well last week.
Yeah, but who knows? It's rookie roulette.
That's true. That's true. Just a quick preview for the remaining players of my team for those interested. We've got O'Driscoll, we've got Sheasel, Zorko, Roberts, we've got Oliver, Dunks, Gorn, Daniel, and that's it. Oh, Lindsay. down in flex. I keep forgetting to look at flex.
So how many players do you got left, and what are you
3,
current
4,
score?
5, 6, 7. So I got 7 players left on field. I got Foss and Hewitt. I'm currently projected in 1835. They're not great, in my opinion. I think I'm projected at par. So we'll see how we go. I don't expect big things from this week. I expect probably a correction rank because I got lucky with dunks last week. So hey, if I'm in the 10,000s, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, 100%. I've got 9 players left, and my current score is 1250.
1250. Nice.
Yeah.
Solid. Tomorrow will be good for you, I reckon.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Jonas asks, are you streaming immediately after the game later today? Probably a question for you, Brad, because I will not be streaming.
Yeah, I'll stream right after the Fremantle and Sydney game. So whatever that is, if it's 8:30ish, thereabouts, I'll be on straight away. And if anything happens internet-wise, I'll jump on my phone a minute later.
Easy done. Well, that is going to be us done for tonight, guys. For those that stuck around for the whole thing, absolutely appreciate you guys checking in and hanging out with me and Brad. Speaking of Brad, where can they find you?
Supercoach Pro is my YouTube channel, and then Supercoach Pro 91 is my Twitter. And I do Sunday night live streams. I'll get guests like yourself on when you've got the time. And if you want to make this a common occurrence too on a Saturday night, I'm always down the majority of the time.
Oh, we might have to, mate. We might have to. It's been a good stream. But yeah, so for everyone else, thanks for joining in. If you haven't liked the stream or given a subscribe to myself or Brad, make sure you go do that now. As Brad said, he will be streaming tomorrow night straight after the final game. You can catch me on the Centre Bounce, the Review Crew stream that will be happening Monday night at 7 p.m. on the Centre Bounce channel. To go check in for that stream where you get to chat to me, Big J, Kai, Broom, and Supercoach God for all things that happened this week. And it's going to be a very interesting episode.
And they
with
should
all
definitely,
that said, guys.
Yeah, definitely sub to you as well, I was going to say, because you're underrated. You've just come on the scene, but you're absolutely killing it out there. So let's get you to 500 as well, mate, because it's just, it's a lot of time and effort put into these sort of things, and you're doing a great job, and I appreciate just making a friend out of yourself and doing some gym sessions on the weekend with you too, mate. So,
mate, I straight right back at you. If we're gonna get a bit deeper a little bit here, guys, just before we wrap up, because Brad was one of the first that I really kind of started talking to in the Supercoach community, and we happen to be locals, and we caught up and kicked the footy. And if it wasn't for Brad being so welcoming and all that sort of stuff, I don't know if I would have continued it or felt a deeper connection to keep, wanting to try to do this after kind of haphazardly doing last season content. So thank you for the kind words, mate. I absolutely appreciate it. But definitely wouldn't be in this sort of position without having you around to talk the can down the road and have a really bad kick of the footy and a couple of gym sessions along the way.
Batman and Robin, mate. Batman and Robin.
Who's Batman? Right? Who's Batman? Who's Batman?
Me for now until you overtake me.
Shit. Well, all right, guys, there's the challenge. I got to get 500 subs this week, all right? We're at... Actually, let's do a live sub count because I'd be interested to see the stats. Have a look. 377.
Wow. Yeah.
You guys have been absolutely nuts.
14. Yeah. It's good.
So if we can get to, look, my goal this season was to get to 200 by end of season, and you guys smashed it.
Yeah.
Then now it's to get to 500 by end of season, and we're almost at 400 before even buy rounds are finished. So I can't really ask for any more than what you legends have been doing. You guys have been absolutely amazing. But it's bedtime. I'm fairly sure some could say that it is time to put on the Squadfathers press conference if it's out. Because that's a bedtime routine, I think. Every Saturday night. There you go. Have we got confirmation? There you go. It's waiting for us. Beautiful. For those that don't know the Squadfather, which I'd be very surprised if you don't. I don't know what you're doing. Go check him out. Godfather Spuds, amazing. Abs magic. Just go look at him. Go watch the press conference. You will not be disappointed, and it will most likely not put you to sleep because you'll be pissing yourself laughing. But go check it out. Stay up to date with all of us, you can follow me at Rookie Coach AFL on X and YouTube, and Brad at Supercoach Pro on YouTube and Supercoach Pro 91 on X/Twitter. Thank you again, Brad. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.